Our family leisure studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sportstime. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get to over these next 3 hours. Basketball, baseball, football, a little bit of everything. But, Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. I'm glad to see you wearing our Leaves attire.
Right, our Leaves. That's right. You got it exactly right. Our Leaves.
And we're part of LFFL, Leaves Fans for Life.
Okay. I'm only LFFP, Leaves Fan for Playoffs. Then I'm back to the Kraken.
Well, a longtime fan like me, it's different.
Yeah, oh man. I mean, you're live and die with this team.
You know it.
It was a good game last night.
What number do you have on?
I have 34, Austin Matthews on right now.
Austin Matthews.
Right. That's right. That was a fun game last night. They get the win, and hey, now up 1-0. I mean, maybe it's Toronto's year.
Maybe so. Hadn't been their year in a long time.
No. They definitely haven't. Canadian teams have done nothing in the playoffs. So maybe this is the year that they can turn that around.
1993, the last time for anybody from Canada. 1967 for Toronto.
Wow. So they have definitely needed a team to go the distance, and maybe Toronto can be that team this year. Certainly rolling right along right now. But that was fun last night. The basketball was really fun last night. Both road teams getting the win.
It was, and there were a lot of people thinking these first three series that have started, and they've all started 1-0, a lot of people were thinking those would be sweeps the other way or 4-1. Mm-hmm. They still could be 4-1.
Sure. And, I mean, I think you saw a lot of fight. We talked about it yesterday, the spreads for both those games. I mean, it was 9-10, and, I think you see that win. What do those teams, how do they respond in game two? We will, I guess we'll find out. But I was really impressed with the road teams last night.
Yeah, very impressive and a lot of fun to watch those games.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. And, now tonight we'll get another one. If the Warriors game goes that same way tonight, then we'll have every game that started this series in the second round, the away team, the lower seeded team, will have won the first game, which would be insane.
Yeah, it would be, and we will pick the series that begins tonight. We got maybe a hockey or two series to pick tonight, but we also, when we look back at these the first three games of these series that have all started 1-0 with the roadies winning and all decided underdogs, I know the NBA, and I know they do it for a reason. 4 out of 7 that decides the best teams. It's not one shot like in the NCAA tournament. But these games have been quite upsets. Yesterday, and I think we talked about it. I know we talked about it during a break between us, but I think we talked about it over there. Last night, both teams were around 8-9 point underdogs. That's a lot for NBA and for both underdogs to really to win those games in those settings. It's not 1 over or 16 over 1 by any means. Nobody's stating that. What would it be? Would it been a 5 versus a 12?
That's a good question.
4-13 type.
Maybe 5-12. That's kind of what I would probably
and hard
consider.
To compare because you get another shot. At one time in the NBA we had 2 out of 3, then we had 3 out of 5, and in 1995, Dikembe Mutombo and the Denver Nuggets, they upset Seattle, and Seattle, George Karl had a great team, and that was the end of that for David Stern. He wasn't going to see the team that was supposed to go real far and kind of the glamour teams be put out that early. They went to 4 out of 7. It gets a little chalky, but like I was saying, there were a lot of people thought these would be sweeps, and they got one. That may be all they get, though.
Sure. No, it might be. And I think that's the thing with especially the NBA playoffs. I feel like every single year you get to the second round, you get to maybe to the conference championship, but certainly the first and second round. I think a lot of people look at those higher seeds and then okay, give me the 1 seed. Okay, give me the 2 seed. Give me the 3 seed. Because they're the better teams. And so I think you see that a lot. You're seeing it here in the second round. But, I mean, you look at these other teams. Denver just won a championship a couple years ago. The Pacers last year were in the Eastern Conference Finals. You look at the Knicks and kind of the talent that they have on that team. These are good teams that are now playing these higher seeds in this second round. So I'm not going out there and saying that I think all these lower seeds that have gone up 1-0 are going to win these series. But I do hope we get entertaining series, and certainly if every game is like what we've seen so far in games 1, then yeah, we're in for a real treat.
We're in for something special. Last night, NBA playoffs about as good as they could be the last couple of days and nights.
Yeah, no, they've been really good. We'll talk about that a little bit later, more in depth later in the show. Well, Brett, you asked yesterday after the big weekend with the Kentucky Derby on Saturday, did we have a super horse on our hand? Still not sure what a super horse, what makes you a super horse, but we certainly know now Sovereignty, not a super horse. I mean, I don't even know what to call it. Not my type of horse.
Isn't it some sort of admission of we kind of stole the race over the heavy favorite journalism?
Kind of. You know, I was reading
stud fees are higher if you don't go out and finish 12th in the Preakness.
That's right, exactly. But I was reading a story.
Or get injured.
That's another thing, and I'd love more information about, was this maybe an injury? What kind of went into it? I saw this quote from ESPN, the 2-week turnaround from the Kentucky Derby to the Preakness and changes in modern racing have sparked debate around the sport about spacing out the races. I thought that was interesting, but
if you think the gorilla's soft and gets tired, the horses now are really soft.
Oh man, Brett. I mean, who knew that we needed rest days for the horses?
Maintenance.
We're calling maintenance on the Preakness for Sovereignty. Just blows my mind.
And it really, I mean, it crushes the Preakness.
It does. And that's the biggest thing. We talk so much about, everyone has fun at the Kentucky Derby, but really nobody's talking horse racing outside of Kentucky Derby week, Kentucky Derby weekend. You get that winner, and then it's kind of like, okay, that was fun. Let's watch the Preakness here in a couple of weeks and see, can they get leg number 2 down? If they're able to go out there and win that, well then, when you get to Belmont, I mean, it's okay. We've got a chance for the Triple Crown. I was shocked I just pulled Belmont out of my back pocket, but how about that? Thank you.
Even if you get to the Belmont and you've got the winner of the Kentucky Derby and the winner of the Preakness, and it's different, and they're both going in the Belmont, you've got a little intrigue.
Sure, then it's like, can one of those win and get 2 out of the 3?
And we still could have that.
Definitely.
Sovereignty could run in the Belmont.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of playing the hide-and-go-seek game, if you're playing a little bit of rope-a-dope, a little bit of four corners, and you don't want anything exposed, don't want to risk any injury, that sale price is going to be big right now, being the Kentucky Derby champion.
Yep.
If you don't go to Baltimore, you don't go to New York.
No, well, it's weird, and I think one of the quotes I saw on the ESPN story said that the hope was that they will go to Belmont, but they're not gonna go to the Preakness, but they're gonna try to get to Belmont, which I just,
and the travel's so tough. We got it. No more
horses,
back-to-backs.
No, those horses. Sovereignty got done. He started complaining. You mean I got to be back out here in 2 weeks? I mean, they're all
need rest.
They're all translating for the horses.
I wonder if
now.
any of the trainers got that in translation.
Exactly. Sovereignty. He's so tired. He told me he just needs a couple weeks to relax. Can't get back out there.
Tired of baggage claim.
Turnaround. Exactly.
Needs to fly charter.
I mean, just unbelievable stuff.
I love when the trainers when they interpret.
It's great. Yeah, no, he's real calm today. He loves the elements out here today. He's ready to go. Okay.
Now, we joke. Those professional trainers, equine science vets, they do know them.
Oh, they're locked in.
They do. I mean, they know when they're in a bad mood.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it really is remarkable to kind of see whether it's horse, any animal, but the people that really take care of them and how they can kind of interpret what they're doing and what that means for that animal. It's cool stuff. And
that's their professionalism. That's their. I mean that's their job. They're supposed to know. But when you start interpreting it as if you're like translating a language, a foreign language,
that's right.
I mean, I heard one talk about Saturday that journalism was a really classy horse. And I texted you. I said, does that mean he stands up when a filly walks in the room?
It's a great joke.
That's
good.
What exactly does that mean?
Idea. I have no idea, but it's good stuff. But I am sad Sovereignty not gonna give it a go at the Preakness here in a couple weeks.
In the end, they are in an animal.
Exactly.
They're in a barn.
Mm-hmm, that's right. But hey, real classy in that barn.
Very nice barns.
Oh, very nice barns. Very nice barns. Brett, last night we got some Tiger scheduling news. We've been kind of waiting slowly, and the big question has been what event are they going to participate in next year? It was announced pretty much right when we got off air, around 6:15, 6:30, that the Tigers will play in the 2025 Baha Mar Hoops Bahamas Championship from November 20th to the 21st. Only a 2-game event. Purdue and Wake Forest are the other 2 teams in this field. Only a 4-team field. So Memphis, Purdue, Wake Forest, still waiting on that 4th team. I've seen some reports saying that Texas Tech could be the 4th team that completes that field, but nothing official about who that 4th team is. But, obviously you knew you weren't going to get what you had last year with Maui, but I think a pretty good field here for the Tigers.
Yeah, and doing it again and going on that type of luxurious trip, which I think is great for the players and the staff and the administration. And I think that's football open date, isn't it?
I think so. I believe.
I think so that weekend. So that really works for everyone. You're not having that tug of war with staff having to be back. Kind of, a lot of the football will be, but a lot of others, announce team, et cetera, they can all go and really enjoy. And I know it's not for everyone on those kind of very fashionable trips, but that's good for the big boosters, the ambassadors, to be able to have that kind of trip. And the reason why it's good for them, I don't want people to think, well, yeah, everything's good for them. No, because on that kind of trip, especially with any winning, you can be working that room and doing a little fundraising.
That's right. Yeah, that's huge. That's big time stuff. So yeah,
best time to pass the hats after a big win.
You're exactly right. It is a perfect time. I mean, everyone's happy. Everyone's in the giving mood, and you go out there and get some fundraising done.
I mean, you don't, but you almost like after a big bowl win or a big MTE early in the year or a big road trip or a big NCAA tournament, you almost want that pledge card. Hand that over to to fans and boosters and get them to add a 0.
That's right. So a perfect time. Maybe they can get that done. But at least we now know Tigers have it set up for what event they'll be playing in next year. We'll talk a lot more about what the scheduling now looks like. Still 6 slots to fill for Tiger basketball in their non-conference, but starting to get a little bit of shape. Also, some other news that we didn't get to yesterday that we'll talk more about in our next segment. Friday, another Tiger news. All this Tiger news coming out right after we get off the air, but Friday evening, right when we got off, Memphis picked up a commitment from 6'8" UT Rio Grande Valley wing Hassan Abdul Hakim. That came, like I said, Friday night. Jason Munns described him as a dynamic and versatile scorer, rebounder, and playmaker. So we'll talk a lot about the scheduling and what this new addition for the Tigers is. Now only 2 open scholarships currently for this Tiger basketball team.
I simply don't believe all the people that are saying that they watched him get 26 against Creighton.
No chance.
I would love to go back and look at the calendar, see what else sports-wise was on, and I would like to just directly confront those people. Go, so you were watching UT Rio Grande Valley Tech against Creighton and not watching this?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. That was, I think, maybe a Saturday game. I remember the game, but
that even more
don't remember. I'll look it up. I will look that up and figure out what day that was. I'll do that during the break, and we can figure out what was going on that day. UT Rio Grande Valley in Creighton. Good game. But we'll talk a little bit about the pickup, talk about the scheduling. A lot to get to over these next 3 hours, so let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. Like I mentioned, 3:30, we'll talk a a lot of Tiger basketball with the scheduling news that we got last night, what the schedule looks like right now, maybe some potential other games that could be put in there. We'll also talk about what this roster looks like right now with the addition of Hassan Abdul Hakim. 3:45, we'll talk NBA. We'll talk about the two games from last night. We'll preview the two games tonight. Game 2 between the Pacers and the Cavaliers. Then the late night game. Game 1 between the Warriors and the Timberwolves.
We got picks.
We do. We got to make picks for that series. That'll be the last series we have to pick in the NBA. We still have some picks in NHL we have to get to, I believe.
And one tomorrow night.
And one tomorrow. That's correct. So a lot of hockey picks that still need done.
schedule.
I mean, look, you're the expert. You're our hockey guy.
No,
on the
Landon's
show.
the expert.
Well, for right now. Let's not get ahead of ourselves by any means. But we'll talk a lot of NBA at 3:45. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. He'll join us. We'll talk college football with him. A lot of news coming out earlier today. It was announced Notre Dame and Clemson announced a 12-game series between the two teams. So that is some fun news and a good series that will get started. Todd Golden, he gets an extension with Florida after winning the national championship. We'll get to all of that with Brent Beard at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. Good night last night around Major League Baseball. The Cardinals get a win to start the series against the Pirates.
Did you buy a jersey?
Brett, I was real close last night. After the game,
I was close last night.
After the game, he had, a home run, a double. Barrio was locked in last night.
Provided some spark.
Sure did. It was fun. And now Mason Wynn's back today, and he's out of the lineup. So, short-lived spark there from Jose Barrio. But fun game last night for him. We'll talk baseball at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Beau Marchant will join us to talk the NFL. And I don't know if I've told you, Brett, I am all in on Brian Schottenheimer. He is a ball coach. I am in. You asked me a week or two ago, I tell you I don't know. I'm all in now. Seeing these videos of him from rookie minicamp, he's got his visor backwards.
All right.
He's
How
a ball coach. Okay.
Next Tom Landry or the next Jimmy Johnson? Which one?
Next Jimmy Johnson. Come on
very
now.
good.
I'm all in on Schottenheimer.
That's not a high bar to get over.
No, certainly
shot,
not.
is it?
Certainly not. We're the Cowboys. We only want the best,
His dad, one of the most beloved figures in the history of the NFL, coaching circles, all the different jobs, the stops, owners loved him, players loved him. Very popular man. Never won anything.
Well, yeah.
Won a lot of regular season games.
Yeah. Well,
never real noise in the playoffs.
Well, you know what they say. You learn everything from your father.
That's right.
So maybe he learned how to win in the postseason and can get it done.
You're declaring now he tops Jimmy Johnson.
Well, look, I didn't say that. I didn't say he tops him. I said he could be the next Jimmy Johnson.
Okay.
He's a ball coach. That's all I got right now. Give me some more time before I crown him of anything. We'll talk a lot of NFL at 5 o'clock with Beau Marchant. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. 5:45, wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pool starting at $19.99 installed, liners starting at $299, and all pool accessories now up to 20% off. 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99, and swim spas and cold plunge tubs now $2,000 off. Patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets, and if you mention this ad, get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime. He's Bryant. I'm Brett. We're produced by Landon Schmidt, and we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. Hit us up there, and at 901-360-8255. All our guests will join us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Always from our Family Leisure studios. And this hour brought to you every day by the great people at Lexus of Memphis, the only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all the 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500. You'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the NBA last night. Two really fun games. It started with the Knicks at Celtics. We picked both of these, and we took both of the higher-seeded team. No, I'm sorry, you picked the Nuggets in this one against the Thunder, so you're already up 1-0. But we were group locked on the Celtics last night. It needed overtime, but ultimately the Knicks get the 3-point win over the Celtics. And Brett, I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. It's time to retire Jalen Brunson's number. He has done enough for the Knicks. He is a staple of this team.
Brian Windhorst had you by a week.
This franchise. You're right, and that was, you asked me last week, are we there with Jalen Brunson? I said, I don't know then. I know now. Jalen Brunson is the heart and soul of this Knicks team. Let's go ahead and hang that banner, retire that number right now. Last night, another good game for him. 29 points, tied for the most points in the game alongside OG Anunoby. Now, he wasn't super efficient. 9 for 23, 5 for 9 from 3, though, was knocking him down from deep. But a really, really fun game. But I think this might be an anomaly for this series. When you look at what the Celtics did shooting the ball last night, 35% from the field, 25% from 3, 15 for 60 from deep last night for the Boston Celtics. They won't have another shooting performance that bad, and I think that's going to fuel them and motivate them. We've been talking all season with Keith Smith about how weird this Boston Celtics team is, where it seems like they're better on the road than they are at home. Maybe not a great thing for the Knicks to go out there and steal game one, but we'll see. The second game, just as fun, came down to the very end. Nuggets come all the way back from trailing early and win the game over the Thunder on the road. Aaron Gordon with the buzzer beater to win the game. He had 22 points. Nikola Jokic did Nikola Jokic things. 42 points, 22 rebounds, and 6 assists. Just incredible stuff. Russell Westbrook off the bench with 18 points. Had the ball while the seconds were running down, and everybody in Denver going, no, 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 no. He passes it, and everyone goes, yes! Finally, Russell Westbrook makes the right decision in crunch time. Two really fun games. We already had a fun game in the Pacers Cleveland game one. Warriors T-Wolves later tonight gets kicked off. It feels like we are getting ready for some really good series.
And we want it. Entertain us, NBA.
Definitely.
We want it. We want the fun stuff. You and Brian Windhorst may be on to something. Not strong competition in the history of the Knickerbockers to wear number 11. Way back to the 1947 Great Caesars goes Butch Van Bredekoff wore 11 and 47. Bob McAdoo toward the end of his career, Hall of Famer, great player, but it wasn't as a Knick. Really, he was better as a Buffalo Brave than he was a New York Knick. Former Tiger assistant coach Rod Strickland.
Oh, man, I love Rod Strickland.
For about a year and a half.
Current Long Island head coach.
Derek Harper for 2 years. Jamal Crawford for about 4 years. Andy Routen's former Grizzly and Razorback Ronnie Brewer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Frank Selden and Jalen Brunson.
I don't know about you, Brett. There's some great number 11s in Knick history.
I don't think there's any competition.
Great names. How about that? Great names.
Some interesting names. Cedric Tony White.
Okay.
Former Tennessee Vol. Y'all may be on to something with number 11. My top story. Different from NCAA tournament upsets, I recognize, because it's just a game in a potential 7-game series. But last night, Knicks upset on the parquet versus Boston, and Denver in Oklahoma City over the Thunder was like a fun NCAA tournament upset. Find the seeds you want to compare, and it's a hard comparison. It's not really fair. I understand that. It was not shocking, but it was very surprising. Point spreads and favorite and all that, and seeds. Both big underdogs, and they pulled the roadie upsets. 29 for Mr. Steady Eddie, Jalen Brunson. And Nikola Jokic showed again why he's the best player in the league with another Wilt Chamberlain stat line. 42, 22, and 6. 42, 22, and 6. And I think the over and under on those combined points, rebounds, and assists were around 53.5, and he got 7.
Crushed it. crush it. That kind of goes back to the conversation we had last week after we had Eli Craner on, and you were talking about everything going on with Bill Belichick. And you said if you pitch that to a publisher or a movie director, what would they say? That stat line's almost the same thing. If you went to a movie producer or tried to publish a book and you're like, yeah, our main character is going to have 42 points, 22 rebounds, 6 assists, they'd laugh in your face and go, we can't do that. We got to have it semi-realistic.
And he can't jump over the Far City phone book.
Exactly. I mean, it is remarkable stuff. He is must-watch television every single night he's on the court. He is that fun to watch.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it's got to be the announcement of what MTE Memphis will play in next year. It was announced last night that the Tigers will be a part of the 2025 Baha Mar Hoops Bahamas Championship. It's only a 2-day event, and it also features Purdue and Wake Forest. We're still waiting on that 4th team, but it sounds like Texas Tech is a team in the mix to be that 4th team in the field. So if you add Texas Tech to this field, a really good field, a Texas Tech team that went on an NCAA tournament run last year, a Wake Forest team that is always solid, in Purdue, we know what they've done. They're bringing back a ton of guys from last year's team. So this feels like a really good field for the Tigers to be in. I think, kind of better. It's not one of those where, you have to go out 3 days, maybe stay in there 4 or 5 days to play those 3 games. It's just 2 days, 2 games, get in, get out, and play some top level competition. So I really like this event that the Tigers will be playing in, and if you can get any of those teams, I think those are going to be good games to point back to come tournament time and say, remember these games, especially if you get wins. Remember these wins that we had in November? Those look really good on our resume right now.
These will be Thursday and Friday, the week before Thanksgiving Thursday, and the day after Thanksgiving Friday. Last year, this was, I think, on CBS Sportsnet with Central Time tips both night, 6 o'clock and 8:30. So it's not. Yeah. It's not. You're right. It's not bracketed. Do you play at 1 o'clock one day and 9:30 at night the next day? You can. You can plan for it, and you can start planning now to go for it. I guarantee you, a lot of Tiger fans will. My not top story: another myth exposed around this Grizzlies season. The Grizzlies' Pravda and PR, and everyone buying and selling it. I called it. I think Oklahoma City's really good. They may go on and win this series 4-1. They may go on and win it all. But we had people the prior 2 weeks, and even in some of the regular season games, having Oklahoma City made out to be Magic and Kareem and Showtime and could just never be touched by anybody. Mere mortals couldn't play against them. The Grizzlies are getting pounded by 51, but there'd be a lot of teams like that by 51. Yeah. They're never going to lose another game. And they go out last night and lose at home in game 1. And it's another reason why we keep lowering the bar. The Grizzlies would just grab one, maybe be competitive. That wasn't what was being thought last night by Denver. They go in there and they get that win. This year was Grizzlies' ineptitude in a lot of ways.
Yep. No, it absolutely was, and it kind of goes back to what you were talking about after the Grizzlies got eliminated. Of what is the reaction if OKC gets bounced in this round against at that point we didn't know if it would be the Clippers or the Nuggets, but just like you were saying, everyone's kind of picturing them as the empire of nobody's going to touch them, and if they get bounced in this round, what's that conversation going to be like?
Everybody kind of running for that warm blanket of, no, this isn't on the Grizzlies. This is how exceptional Oklahoma City that they are.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how these series play out, especially after how all of the game ones have turned out so far. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we return, we're going to talk Tiger basketball scheduling news. Also, another commitment that came down Friday night. We'll talk about the schedule and the roster next on Sportstime.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tito's handmade vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for golf. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work in them by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier is the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of EMS calls in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Tried its best to crank up certain sections of Midtown just in the last few minutes as we check it out live again on 240 South here at Norris as it gets a little bit heavier going outbound on Lamar back out towards Olive Branch. South of Memphis has been in good shape. However, there's been a little bit of radar down through certain parts of DeSoto County as you travel south of Memphis on 55. Be careful. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season, which is just around the corner. Go by and see them now and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Cruise. Here on your eyes, let's start sports moving. Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We've got to talk Tiger basketball. News coming out for Penny Hardaway, his team, and what next season will look like. We talked about it in the opening segment, but last night it was announced that Memphis will play in the 2025 Baha Mar Hoops Bahamas Championship, a two-day event November 20th and 21st. It is a four-team field. Memphis, Purdue, Wake Forest, the three teams. The fourth team has yet to be announced. There has been speculation that Texas Tech could be that fourth team, but nothing concrete just quite yet. So right now, this is what the non-conference schedule looks like for the Memphis Tigers. Home versus New Orleans, we do not have a date for that yet. Home versus San Francisco, we also do not have a date for that. On the road against Ole Miss, we also don't have a date for that. After that, these are dates we do have. Home versus UNLV on November 16th. The Baha Mar event on November 20th and 21st. At Mississippi State on December 20th. So that means at least six more spots to fill for Tiger basketball in their non-conference slate.
Yeah, and you would think that the Ole Miss game will probably be on one of those Saturdays in December after college football, before in and around the holidays. Might even be Saturday the 27th. Last year it was on the final Saturday of the calendar year. So we know 7 games are set.
Yep.
They will play 13 non and 18 in conference for 31 total. That's the most you can play. Everybody play. You can play less than that, but nobody. You want to play as much as you can. You would think that they will play at least 1 or 2 or 3 bi-type BUI bi-type home games against teams that conference will be a one-bid league, like Louisiana Tech last year, Arkansas State last year, Alabama State. It'll be against those types. It might not be those same teams again, but it would be against those types. And I don't think Arkansas State had a return game in it, did it?
No, it did not. I don't think so.
So you'll get about 3 of those games. So then that would leave you, at about 3 more games to schedule. You've kind of done the Clemson and Virginia thing from the ACC. So I would hope, just speculating, go talk to someone from the ACC like a Pitt, like a Boston College, maybe a Georgia Tech. Play somebody like that home and home. Maybe two of those types, and have the ACC, because you think if you play them and you're already playing Wake Forest, if the ACC is just a little bit better than it was last year, and you win 2 or 3 of those type of games, well, you get the benefit of that net rating all year when it starts factoring in. And we know for a lot of college basketball, but especially the Tigers, they've got to do net damage in November and December because the big timber, the big fall off happens when you get into the slop of AAC.
That's right. Yeah. And so I think, they're going to have that in the back of their mind. They're going to want to go out there and like you said, they'll have a few bye games in there. Of course, everybody does.
And should.
But they're going to want to go out there and try to get, some of these middle of the pack to even high of the pack teams in these power conferences to just have those games on the schedule. Having Purdue or maybe Texas Tech or Wake Forest, that's great to have on the schedule, but you need a little bit more of that. Mississippi State and Ole Miss, great to have on the schedule, but you need a couple more to solidify what would be a good resume for the Tigers come postseason play. And so, yeah, I don't know who those teams are. Maybe a Georgia Tech. Obviously Damon Stoudemire has a lot of connections in this area and with the city. So maybe you can work something out with him and maybe get a scheduled game with Georgia Tech. I think a team like that would be good to get on the schedule.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play NC State, I sure don't want to run into Will Wade. No. If he has P.J. Haggerty. No. And I know a lot of fans are screaming right now, what about Louisville? I hope it happens.
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, and there's been speculation about that. There have been comments made from both sides about trying to get a deal done to have that series start again. So I hope that's on the horizon somewhere, whether it's this year or next year. And obviously, I do think you have 2 coaches. I've said this multiple times. I think you've got a coach on both sides that would love to play that way. And obviously, Penny Hardaway knows what that series means, and I think on the other side, you have a coach that will play anybody, and is ready to go out there.
He will
and play any team, and so
it should be applauded. He hadn't ducked a soul conference, and it's not just because he knows he's got to beef up. He wants to play, and he plays that type of competition.
Pat Kelsey is a fiery coach, and yeah, he'll play anybody, and so yeah, maybe that's something that they get on the books, because I do think you have two coaches that have it.
I don't think there's a single team out there in college basketball, not one, not UConn, not defending national champion Florida, not Kentucky, not any, not UCLA, that if they called Penny Hardaway today and said, we'll play you home and home, but you got to come to us first next year, book it.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think, and Penny Hardaway has said that multiple times from the time he got the job as Memphis' head coach. We'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. So let us get you on the schedule. He's talked about how he wants to get teams like Duke on the schedule for the Tigers. So yeah, if that call comes up and, hey coach, we want to play you, but you got to come down here the first year. We'll return the trip the following year. I really do think, based on everything I've seen from Penny Hardaway in the terms of the way he's scheduled, he'd say, heck yeah, sign us up. Let's go. And I think that's a good quality for Penny Hardaway to have, especially when you look up and you see that last year was such a hard non-conference schedule that the Tigers did a great job. We were still speculating at the end of the season of, will this team be a 7-8 seed? And so I think Penny Hardaway knows that we got to schedule tough in non-conference. And so yeah, I think he's open for anything.
After years of playing someone, along with Ole Miss and Mississippi State, someone else from the SEC, the Mizzou thing's probably at the end.
Feels like it.
They did the Vandy thing, did the A&M thing, did the South Carolina thing, kind of did the LSU thing with the game in Tupelo, which was still as goofy as anything. Did the A&M thing, except I don't think Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky is going to happen. Who from they did the Georgia thing, kind of running out. Who from the SEC would you like to see a new thing started with?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, obviously,
Oklahoma?
I mean, I think Oklahoma would be cool. That's one where I think you haven't seen them in a while, so I think it would be cool. I think Vanderbilt, I know you've had something with them more recently, but completely new coach, completely new everything for Vanderbilt right now. So I wouldn't mind getting them back on the schedule. The easy answer is always Arkansas, but I don't think you're going to get that. But yeah, I would say Oklahoma or Vanderbilt would probably be my two.
And the Tigers also kind of did the thing with Auburn, did it with Bama. So, they've played about all of them.
You've seen a lot of them. I mean, really, Oklahoma and Texas just kind of joining the league are kind of the two teams that you haven't run into. Florida, you haven't really seen. Those are kind of the three. Other than that, you've kind of done it. South Carolina's been more time, but you're kind of getting there where it's been a while since you've seen them. So maybe South Carolina. I don't know. I mean, those would probably be the four teams that I'd go with.
Last year, 10-3 in that non-conference. 2 seasons ago, 11-2, and I don't think it can go below 9-4, 8-5, 7-6. Gets. I don't know that does a lot of good for you. And then if you got picked off 2 or 3 or 4 times in the AAC, that's white knuckle selection Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, just what I said just a couple minutes ago. I mean, even with how good they were last year, we were still, coming down the stretch, on Selection Sunday, going, "Ooh, I don't know where this team's going to be. They could be a 7 seed. They could even be an 8 seed," and just because of the quality of the American. And so, yeah, I mean, that's why you want to beef it up. I just don't know if you can have that great of a record every single year if you continue to beef up the non-conference schedule like they have. But, I think you've just got to go out there and try to schedule tough and hope that your team is able to go out there and win those games so that you're propped up a little bit come conference time, because we've seen year after year that this conference, all it does is drag you down.
What's the national team, even if you had to go on the road next year, but you knew they were coming to FedEx Forum, not Baja, not Maui, not anything else, but coming to FedEx Forum, who would you?
The Brotherhood.
Yeah.
The Brotherhood. I mean, you get Duke here. We kind of saw it with the preseason last year with North Carolina. If you could get a regular season game with Duke and have a home and home, maybe a home neutral or something, yeah, get Duke here, and I'm all over that.
I would be too, and Duke just really doesn't do that though.
No.
I mean, they play most of their non-Cameron indoor, non-conference games in Brooklyn at Barclays or in New York City at Madison Square Garden.
That's a good point, and you got to give credit to Shire because he's kind of getting away from that. You've seen the last couple of years them do the home and homes. Arizona, they've done it the last couple of years, but it's kind of Auburn. So they're starting to do it. John Shire's kind of trying to plant that flag of we'll go on the road, we'll play you, we'll bring you here and play you, and so you got to give him a lot of credit for that. I don't know if he would do that with Memphis. I don't know. But it would be cool to see. But you're right. History has told us Duke just doesn't do that. There's outside of them playing all the games that they already have, the tournaments they play in, the classics and stuff in Madison Square Garden. There's very few slots for them to play non-conference games. And they kind of like to beef those up with Coppin State and Maine and those sort of teams.
Let's say it's official and Texas Tech will be that fourth team. We know it's Wake Forest, Memphis, and Purdue. Who do you want to play first round game?
I want to play Purdue first game. I would love to see
Many
Purdue.
early, way too early polls at Purdue, top 2 or 3 teams.
They're going to be really good. They're bringing back a lot of pieces. I'd say give me Purdue game 1, give me Texas Tech game 2. I'd love to see Texas Tech.
And if Memphis plays Wake Forest, you know who they see, old buddy Captain Cue Ball himself.
Who's that?
Steve Forbes.
That's right. Oh man, he has a
Old
good
Tennessee
program over
assistant
there. That's
the
right.
night of the 1-2 game.
That's right. I forgot about that.
How he was acting post game that night was disgraceful.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tennessee should have been happy to win.
Sure.
Absolutely. You should always celebrate winning.
No
but
doubt.
The assistant coach doesn't need to be near that mouthy.
Really? Wow. Well, based on everything I've seen from Steve Forbes, that kind of checks out.
But he was encouraged by some here that
Of
just
course.
dreamed of him being Cal's successor.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, so maybe that would be the more that I
Guess
know
they
about
think
this
I
lore.
forget, don't they?
The more I know about this lore, I maybe I'm changing my tune. Maybe I'd rather
I'd
see
love
Wake
to play him and
Forest.
beat him 20.
I'm all for it. I'm all for beating any of these teams by 20. So definitely some good news there for the Tigers in terms of scheduling. Starting to get a little bit of a better idea of what that non-conference slate will look like. Well, let's go ahead and get to another break. When we come back, we got to talk the NBA. 2 great games last night. I mean, an unbelievable night of playoff basketball. We'll talk about both those games. We'll preview the 2 games tonight. We'll do that next on Sportstime.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis Public Links has so much going on right now. Audubon is right around the fairway. Wait until you see when this thing is a finished product. Fox Meadows is in great shape. The Links at Pine Hill is now a masterpiece of a place to play, as are really all the other Memphis public golf courses. Galloway is playing like a championship course. They just finished the 75th year of the OPO, and Overton Park is now talked about, and that layout all across the state. And by the way, folks, it's so easy to make a tee time. The hard part is getting your buddies to pick their time. You go online to memphispubliclinks.com, select your course, then grab your tee time. Simple, easy, and incredibly convenient. Also, on the website is a schedule of upcoming events. There you'll find something that will interest you. Again, if you want to book a tee time or find out more about tournaments or other events at any of the great Memphis public golf courses, go online to memphispubliclinks.com.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal can pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout. No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per cart.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns or to new car trade, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
So you need to sell your house? I have a solution. 946-1101. Next time, 946-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy House. Here
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
fantastic
6, 7.
customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. The commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue 6-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
Now, back to Sports Time. Sports this hour is brought to you by Lexus Cars. Here are your hosts, let's talk sports with Gates.
Welcome back in to Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got to talk more NBA and talk about those two games last night. Preview the two games tonight. We got to get a pick for Warriors Timberwolves as well. But last night, two really fun games. Both came down to the wire. You had the first game go to overtime where Brett, your Knicks get the win over the Boston Celtics, 108-105 in overtime. And then that second game, Nuggets Thunder came down to a game-winning shot from Aaron Gordon, 121-119, the final score of that game. Two thrilling games. Hopefully tonight, both these games live up to what we saw last night.
I couldn't believe the comeback the Knicks staged.
Oh, yeah.
And then to have that good play drawn up, clean look. Brunson misses it in regulation. I didn't think gave them no prayer in the overtime, and they get it done. Was it more on the Knicks or more on the Celtics?
I think it was more on the Celtics. I mean, you can't go out there and miss all those shots like they did. I mean, we talked about it earlier, 16 for 50 last night from 3, 15 for 60, whatever it was. I mean, that is just abysmal shooting. And this is a team in Boston that really relies on the three ball. And so, the question now is, was that just an off night for the Celtics? Was that great defense from the Knicks? And, that'll be something to watch in game two. But,
it was, they just kept chucking. It was chuck fest, wasn't it?
They did. And, obviously that's where a lot of their offenses come from all season. So you kind of get in that situation. You almost feel like maybe we can shoot ourselves out of it. But I'll say this. To take 63 pointers, shoot that poorly from deep, and still only lose by 3 points in overtime, that's kind of a win. I mean, it's obviously a loss. You obviously didn't play well, but I think Boston's looking at that game going, okay, we lost. We're down 1-0, but we'll never have another game where we shoot that bad. And if we just shoot, if we make 2 more threes, we win that game against the Knicks. So, I still feel really good about Boston in this series.
I do too. How many more for the Knicks in this series? How many do they get?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we talked about it yesterday. I think 2 is still, obviously now
get
they're
one
up
at home,
1-0.
jazz the crowd up.
Yeah, I mean, I think even
good year.
A really good year. And I think even if Boston comes out in game 2 and, wins and almost dominates, I think you're still going to see a really juiced up Madison Square Garden for game 3 at home hosting Boston just because they got one on the road. And, I think that could get them one game at home, whether it's game 3 or 4, and then, whatever happens after that. But I do think they can get 2 games.
So where are all the people that love fouling down the stretch of the game? Because that's what Dejanau in Oklahoma City did.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they turned immediately to let's just start fouling. You saw, I don't remember what game it was, but one of the games in the Warriors Rockets series, the Warriors started doing that down the stretch. Of any time Steven Adams got his hands on the ball, I mean, they started it with probably 8 minutes left. It was just, let's get him to the line. We know he's gonna struggle at the line. And so, you saw Thunder all out, blitz of fouls late last night. And, I mean, it came back and hurt them Nuggets able to get that comeback, 3 or back-to-back really solid quarters for them in the third and the fourth, to put up 36 in that fourth quarter, stage that comeback after, in the second quarter, it really looked like, all right, Thunder are going to run away with this because it was really back and forth first quarter, but it started to look like in that second quarter, all right, here's Denver doing their thing. They're going to run away with it and win this game by double digits. And then second half, Nuggets come out and they look really good and able to stage that comeback and able to get that final shot to fall.
Tonight, game 1 of Minnesota and Golden State. Minnesota, the better seed and favored for the series. Favored tonight, 6.5 in game 1. It'll be rocking. We know that feeling. Minnesota young, but not that young.
No, I mean, I think you're looking at Anthony Edwards, a complete superstar. I am there with Anthony Edwards. He is a superstar and, one of the future faces of this league. And so when you have that guy, based on what he's already done in the playoffs in the first round, look out. I think it's going to be tough to stop him. You've got Rudy Gobert, who's very hit or miss sometimes, but is that kind of big, presence down low. Where you look at Golden State, they have some physical guys down low, but they don't have the size that Minnesota has. So yeah, I mean, they're young, but I think they've got some of those veteran pieces that can make this tough on the Warriors.
Who are you for? Who are you picking?
That is such a difficult question. Who am I for? I am for Golden State. Oh, I'm going to get a lot of pushback on that. I am for Golden State. I am picking Minnesota.
I am picking Minnesota because I am never for Golden State.
I was going to get pushback on that, Brett. I knew it.
What's Landon's pick?
Landon is going with Golden State as well. So 1 Golden State, 2 Minnesota picks. I think it's going to be a fun series.
I do too.
It's going to be really fun. It's going to be
ready
really
to
fun.
watch.
No, yeah, no. And tonight should be really good. Game 1.
I can make it to 8:30.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these 8:30 starts, they're a lot
Don't
better.
know about the clock hitting all zeros.
Well, that was me last night. I know we're going to talk baseball a little bit later. That was me with the Mariners Athletics game last night.
Great game.
Oh, great game. I got through the 10th inning. Did not make it through the 11th inning.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning. I said, I don't know.
I woke up to the news as well.
Yeah, but see, what I did is on my MLB app, I can watch the games because I have MLB.tv, but I can do it to where I'm watching the regional broadcast, but I'm listening to the radio broadcast. So I had the radio broadcast going.
Is that Dave Sims on radio?
Not anymore. Dave Sims is with the Yankees now.
Is that right?
That's right. Yes, this is his first year with the Yankees. I'm pretty
Good
sure
for him.
right.
That's got to help him on.
Oh yeah.
Travel.
Oh, certainly. So yeah. I mean, I woke up to that news, but I think I can stay up for this game tonight between the Warriors, Minnesota. Going to be fun. Game 2 between the Pacers and the Pacers and Cleveland. That's going to be a fun game as well. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour, get to another break, and when we come back to start our second hour, we're talking college football with Brent Beard.
So this month, we, of course, celebrate the World Championship of Barbecue.
Yes, at Tiger Lane.
And if you're on a barbecue team, we wish you the very best.
I do not like where this is going.
We wish you the very best at being second.
Oh, this is bear poking.
Because the best barbecue in Memphis is, and has been for a long time, to be found at Central Barbecue.
Barbecue contestants take this very seriously.
Central Barbecue takes barbecue more seriously than anyone.
These are not people you want to make mad.
I don't want to make them mad. I just want them to be prepared to be outdone by Central Barbecue.
And I want everyone to know that I did not write this.
And it's really not even fair.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-935-3377. 800-935-3377. 800-935-3377.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure. Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. Getaway Sports basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that provides cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 for you, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A lot of debris removal out here today amongst TDOT and those help trucks. They've been doing a great job. Traffic's moving right now through Midtown on 240 southbound here at South Parkway. It won't be long before it gets busy. I-40 at Danny Thomas as you work your way across the I-40 bridge back over in and through the West Memphis area. Weimer's Jewelry, they've been serving the Memphis area now for over 40 years. Bridal season just around the corner. Go see David right now and his family at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1. College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beer, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beer. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beer with Brian and Brent.
Brent Beard joins us now from First Coast News down in Jacksonville to talk college football. We do it every week with him, a little college basketball as well. But Brent, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start with the news that came out yesterday. Michigan has suspended Sherrone Moore for 2 games this year for allegedly deleting text messages with Connor Stallions. He will coach week 1 and week 2, but he will not coach in week 3 or 4. What do you make of this decision by Michigan? I thought we were already past this, but I guess here we are, more suspension for Michigan.
Well, as you know, it takes a while for the NCAA to get around to these things still, as far as the punishment phase of it, shall we say. He'll be out for the Central Michigan game and the Nebraska game. So Harbaugh probably knew this was coming. I'm not saying that's why he went to the NFL, but he didn't want to hang around to have to deal with this. It does make you wonder how many suspensions they're going to have there of their coaches. At some point, national champion struggled somewhat last year, but he'll do his time. I'm sure he'll still be involved with everything except being on the sideline for game day. It's certainly a tad embarrassing, you could say, but we knew this would come down, and frankly, for all it was worth, it may have been a lot easier than they thought it was going to be.
The whole story just never repulsed me and bothered me that much. It just didn't, because I know not everywhere. I'm not going to throw that around, but I know other places are doing it, and I know other places are and it's been done for a long, long time. At other places in rivalry games and big games, and it's why every building, every practice place is Fort Knox, but because of it, because they don't want it out. But so it never bothered me that much. I like Jim Harbaugh a lot. I'm glad he got his national championship. But the Michigan defense in this is we didn't do a thing wrong, but yet they've already self-imposed twice.
Yeah.
Somebody that didn't do anything, they've slapped their own wrist twice.
Yeah, they sure did. That tells you something, does it not? So, but again, the thing that we've seen with the NCAA with this is I mean, it takes a while to get this done, in the investigation, and then when you get to this part of it where teams are punished, you just don't see much going on. That they are, I think, part of this, guys, is they're afraid if they really hammer somebody that they're going to get sued, and they've lost in every case they've come up with.
For life.
Yeah.
Virtually.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Weird headline yesterday for sure, seeing that suspension. The headline this morning, though, was Notre Dame and Clemson announce a 12-game series between the two. It's going to be part of the 5 games per year average for Notre Dame with the ACC. What did you make of that news earlier this morning?
Well, it's certainly been the news of the day. It's interesting. I mean, and again, I've seen some headlines of, well, I guess this means Clemson's going to stay. Well, that's not necessarily true, because this new contract is going from 26 to 31, and I think Clemson, Florida State, I think there's still a chance that they may go. I mean, they certainly did a lot to help themselves as far as the strength of schedule with this. I do think it's somewhat concerning that that in order for the ACC to get a better schedule, they've got to go outside. Look, I know the Notre Dame partnership, but they've got to virtually go outside the ACC to get it done. That probably tells you something about the league. And guys, here's the other thing. And we talk about this at least once or twice a year. The question comes up, well, will Notre Dame ever get into a conference? Well, when they've got deals like this, why should they get into a conference?
Only solidifies staying on.
Yeah, absolutely. With the money and all that goes along with this, I mean, I'm all for really good home-and-home matchups. And long-term things. I think we're going to see more of this. I tell you, in this article, what got my attention, and I know Brent's eagle eye caught this pretty quick, was it was mentioned a couple times in that article by some different ADs. Now, they didn't say it was going to be for sure, but they were saying and really. I think insinuated that the SEC again is going to 9 conference games, and who's going to follow suit after that? I thought that was a small part of the article that was very interesting.
I caught it, but when I see 9 games, I'm sorry, but it just kicks in for me. I got to see it to believe it. I got to see it announced.
I agree.
I got to see the future scheduling model. I have to see them do that. Now, I love the Clemson Notre Dame deal, and I love that it's going to be at Clemson, at Death Valley, and it's going to be at Notre Dame, played on campus at South Bend. I love that aspect of it. But I'm afraid Notre Dame is also doing this because they know they could be in jeopardy. USC is openly talking about getting out of that deal for sure every year and maybe just playing occasionally.
Yeah, and that would hurt them. Even with USC not being the power that they are now, I tell you what, we need to give Clemson some credit here in the fact of where they've got home and homes in the future with LSU, Georgia, and Oklahoma,
and always with South Carolina.
I mean that's pretty impressive. With what Clemson has done here, look, I'm with Brett. I like it. It's just good for college football. I hope we see more and more of it. You always kind of read between the lines on these things to kind of see where this may end up going. But it was certainly the story of the day.
But Brent, it goes back to last year's dereliction of that committee, led by the Michigan AD, with the committee makeup that included Hunter Yurachek on it, they did not reward, that they just looked at a number. They looked at a loss number, and one beat 2 or 3. They did not reward teams playing tougher schedules. They just went to, well, who won games? Well, if you're going to do that, are we going to take a 12-0 Ball State? Or what? I mean, what are we going to do with it? And why would you go out and schedule tougher if you're in Big Ten, SEC, and maybe even ACC? What's the reward if 2 you're kind of in trouble, 3 you're out? I'm going to play softies.
Yeah, well, we'll continue to see some of that, but I think what people will like to see too is this committee. They give this great to do every Tuesday night, starting in November, about how they rank their teams, and then they go against that, and that's one of the things that people would like to see. If you're using these rankings, use them as seedings, and just do it the same way. We've got to get back to more of a strength of schedule of this, or it's going to discourage teams to do what Clemson Notre Dame did.
And if you're on that committee and you don't know the difference between one's playing juggernauts and playing a brutal schedule and the other one's not, then you don't need to be on that committee.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and when you're playing a brutal schedule, you're going to get sometimes 3 losses. You're probably certainly going to get 2. But as we expand this thing from 12 to 14 or even 16, all this is going to be even more important when that comes up.
And then you have one on the committee from the SEC and Hunter Yurachek that could not reward another SEC team. He would rather the league lose the money and lose the 4th team in than have to reward some of them. So he helped grease the skids for a team that didn't lose as bad in the second half as they were losing in the first half in SMU.
Yeah. That's a good point too.
Just laughable. And then their performance at State College, PA against Penn State showed it.
Yeah, no question it did. So, yes, and which drew a lot of criticism, and it should have.
You could have sent South Carolina up there and had a better game than that.
Absolutely no question. Listen, Ole Miss would have given them a better game than that.
Sure and Alabama. I know what happened at Norman, but I also know it's a season. It's not 1 week.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Talking to Brent Beard. He joins us every week from First Coast News in Jacksonville to talk college football. Speaking of Penn State, Brett brought this up yesterday. Joel Klatt posted his post-spring top 25 for the 2025 season, which I love the idea of an updated top 25 post-spring nowadays with what spring practice looks like now. He has Penn State number 1, Texas 2, Ohio State 3, Oregon 4, and Clemson 5. He does have Texas A&M at 19. What is a preseason poll without Texas A&M in there?
Absolutely.
How good do you think Texas A&M will be this season, and what do you think of Joel Klatt's post-spring top 5?
A&M's Mr. May, aren't they? If Reggie Jackson was Mr. October, A&M football's Mr. May.
They really are. And look, they were 8-4 with Kevin Sumlin, and they're 8-4-ish again
with Emory Ballard or Gene Stallings or Jackie Sherrill or
just pick whoever you want to fill in the blank there. Marcel Reed's a good quarterback, but is he good enough to take them where they want to go? They got the Concepcion kid at wide receiver from NC State. But guys, the problem is defense, and Elko was not happy and shouldn't have been at the end of the year. Said we can't cover anybody, we can't knock anything down, we can't intercept anything. So that's going to be, I think, the emphasis, and not they don't need to emphasize offense, but their defense was not good. And that's the thing that's got to change. Yeah, basically everybody's got a post-spring top 25 out right now, besides the three of us.
That's right.
We got one coming soon.
Should we put it together right now?
Yeah, really. But no, I would.
We're going to update bracket here in a couple of Fridays, Brian.
Yeah, we've got to. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, look. I'll admit, I love to read it. It's fascinating. Does it mean anything? Really, no. But the other reality is, like radio, print's going to have something to write about. So I get it.
I understand it too. Brent Beard, our guest on Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, with us every Tuesday, year round, talking mostly college football. We're going to get some Todd Golden thoughts before we let you go today. Don't let me forget that, Brian. We want to get your thoughts because it's another Houdini act by Scott Strickland. I mean, they're both almost out in October, and now they got one shining moment and new contracts for everybody. At A&M next year, here's one change that's going to be fun to watch. That game, mostly a 50-50 split at Jerry Jones' stadium against Arkansas, and it has been dominated by the Texas Aggies.
Yes.
No more of that. They got to go to Fayetteville and play that game.
Sure do. And matter of fact, if memory serves, Notre Dame's going to Fayetteville, right?
They are. And A&M's going to South Bend.
Yeah.
It's almost like Notre Dame joined the league this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
I missed the release.
Yeah, really. Yeah, look, to their credit, even though they're not in the conference in the ACC, they're SEC. They play a lot of them anyway. So I get that.
That's hilarious. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Todd Golden and his extension announced earlier this morning. A 6-year, $40.5 million extension for the champion head coach. What did you make of that news this morning?
I think that's like, I haven't done the math. I've heard from people who did. I think that's like 6.3 a year or something like that, which is certainly very good. I said, guys, I'm telling you, and y'all remember this, when this Title IX thing came up, it looked like he may not even last, through January at that point, but they circled the wagons. They played well, and I mean, you've got 3 national championships now within about, 20 years or so. They're quite excited about that, quite excited about how successful basketball has been at Florida. I think they'll have another really good year this year. Guys, they've got if you can believe, I'm sure you've probably seen this, they've got a 7'9" kid.
He's every bit of it.
who actually is coordinated, that they are working with. Now, maybe, 2 or 3 years before he can really play, but it just kind of tells you the talent they've got. Now, Golden lost a couple of assistants. He'll have to replace them, but I don't think he will have any problem right now. But in his shoes, the pun, but he's the golden boy on that campus as we speak.
He is. That's what winning would do for you. At minimum, with the 7-9 player, they ought to win every opening tip.
Yeah. Hey, he'd be great to that they wouldn't be blocking the pass if he's throwing it in at a crucial time, would they?
They sure won't. They deserve it. They were very impressive down the stretch of the year, and
they were.
And the Walter Clayton contribution was something MOP of the Final Four. I would have loved it to have been the fly on the wall and see and hear the reaction when Steve Spurrier heard they were paying a basketball coach $6 million a year. Florida. I built this place and I only made $1.5 million.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah. He would. And look, he may have that comment within the next few days. You never know.
Really could. If somebody threw a microphone in front of him, he might go off. This town was nowheresville till I got here.
And you know someone is going to get a quote from him about that eventually, right?
Oh,
yeah. They are. Back to Clemson, Brent. I was thinking about this, and I know it cuts a lot of different ways with Dabo Swinney. With a lot of people, I still love him from way back. What he's done, 2 national championships. He's the biggest thing in Clemson football history. He's bigger than Danny Ford. He's bigger than Frank Howard. He's the king of Clemson football. Kind of using the Alabama comparison. We know Alabama is the king all time of SEC football, of college football. But is Clemson clearly the king all time of ACC?
Well, I think because of the consistency is what you're saying. I would say yes.
I would too.
Now look, obviously Florida State fans would differ with that, with the Bowden run.
Blows a little hot and cold, though.
It agreed, and Miami is even more hot and cold than that. So yeah, I think that's true.
And a lot of Miami's chops weren't really in the ACC.
Well, true. And look, I give Dabo credit. He is not afraid to make changes in that staff. Now, Tom Allen's going to be very interesting.
Great coach. Great man.
Yes, taking care of that defense. Look, and some people would disagree with this, and that's fine. I appreciate Dabo is an incredibly consistent human being. I appreciate his faith. He's not afraid to talk about his faith. And I think a lot of people do appreciate that, frankly. And look, and I think he's provided that kind of example. But I mean, that they could go on another run. Not saying they're going to, but yes, you could make that argument that they've been the standard bearer for that conference.
And when he took over that job in the ruin of Tommy Bowden, after Tommy Bowden had good years and good success there, but it had bottomed out. There wasn't a long line wanting it, and he was really the benefactor of just standing there, and they named him the coach.
We thought that at one, you remember this, Brent and Brian, you probably do too. I mean, everybody just thought, well, he's just a cute recruiter.
Rah-rah guy.
Yeah, and good old country rah-rah guy. But to his credit, he matured, and he made some hard decisions, and they've had some really good teams. And I tell you what, he has stood the test of time. And he doesn't like a lot of it. I know he doesn't like the NIL situation, but consistency is his name.
Another one that doesn't like NIL and is firmly on a flaming hot seat this year is Arkansas head coach Sam Pittman. And in the notes you sent me, Saturday Down South had a really good story and made a point that I do think fair-minded people, and I think the Arkansas administration has kept in mind in giving him the start of a 6th year. Remember, he was hired in the hiring class of Coach Mike Leach at Mississippi State, and sadly we lost Mike Leach. and Eli Drinkwitz and Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Well, Pittman hadn't come close to those two jobs. But that Saturday Down South story that you sent to me in your notes to me, it made the point. He took over after the worst hire in the history of the SEC. The Chad Morris hire was just abominable.
It was. And look, I give him credit for bringing Petrino back. But people snickered at that, and, well, that'll never work. But look, and again, they haven't set the woods on fire yet with it, but they've got a capable quarterback, and Talon Green, and Petrino comes back. I mean, if they could, and he could keep that job, they can make 7 or 8 wins, and certainly be competitive here. Is he a great coach? The jury's still out on that, but I think he is a fit there, and I think they appreciate who he is, what he does, and what he says. But it certainly wouldn't hurt him to have a good year or two.
You can go next year after every game before you look at the final. If you don't know the final score of an Arkansas game next year, and you just start going through the box score and you see quarterback sacks and quarterback hurries for Talon Green, the lower the number is going to be a lot better. If he's protected and not hit and not shell shocked, not having scar tissue of kind of, looking everywhere, seeing ghosts, he can be effective.
He could be. I agree with that very much. And they think their defense is going to be better. So, and again, we mentioned this earlier, that they're playing Notre Dame at home. I don't care what kind of team Notre Dame's got. That'd be a feather in their cap to be celebrating a win over Notre Dame in Fayetteville.
That's the one they have circled. But here in Memphis Tiger fans have the week before circled when the Razorbacks have to come to Memphis to play the Memphis Tigers at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
That's right.
Wow. Well, that I don't know if you call that a trap game or whatever you can do, but that's a great point. That's a very dangerous game.
You better be ready to play game for sure.
They sure better.
Yeah, they absolutely should. Well, Brent, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next week. Let me say on the way out here that Sunday is Mother's Day, and I think about my mother for one reason or another. Almost every day, and I tell you what, the longer she's gone, the more I appreciate her. So, for the people here who still have their mothers, I hope they rejoice in that, and they have a great weekend.
Me too.
Well said, Brent. And I know, Brent, your cohort agrees with me.
Oh, yeah.
And what was my response back to you in text when you said, don't forget Sunday is Mother's Day? What was my response?
Every day is Mother's Day.
Every day should be Mother's Day. Every day should be Mother's Day, and every day should be Veterans Day.
Yeah, I love that. I agree. And that'd be very, very, very appropriate. So,
yes, it would.
So excuse the emotion, but it's worth it.
Understood,
Absolutely.
my friend.
Thanks, Brent.
Understood. Thank you, Brent.
You too, guys. Take care.
Thank you, man. Brent Beard with us every week, and what a good soul. And that Arkansas schedule, opening day against Alabama A&M in Fayetteville, and not in Little Rock. The next week is in Little Rock against Arkansas State, and we know how big that's going to be for both sides.
Absolutely.
Brian, I'm going to ask this when we get closer to it.
Okay.
In game week, we'll catch up with both. We'll visit with Ty. I bet we catch up with Kara Ritchie.
Definitely.
May bring in voice of Arkansas State, Matt Stoltz, and we'll have both sides covered that week. I think it's historic. I've long been for it. It's just a one-time deal. Mm-hmm. There's no talk of game 2 in the future. What is victory other than victory that week for Arkansas State? Or is it not? It's either, is it win or lose, or?
I think it's a little more than win or lose. I think you can kind of sell yourself on close game, competitive. You were out there battling.
Fourth quarter game,
sure,
8 minutes to play.
Hey, coming down and you've got them on their edge of their seats. They haven't, they're not putting in any of the backups. They're, it's still.
Right, isn't that hard for Arkansas then? Because if the scoreboard is not the determiner of victory. That's why a lot of people don't want to play those kind of games.
It's in every sport, and you talk about those games where a team like Arkansas, you don't get much out of that game, but you have everything to lose from that game. You slip up, it's a close game. Heck, you lose the game.
It's still a changer of all time. Sam Pittman lost that.
Oh, I mean, it's incredible. But yeah, I think you see that in a lot of sports with a lot of teams. I think you've seen that a little bit with not a little bit. I think you've seen a lot certainly with Tiger football over the last couple of years, and definitely with Tiger basketball as well. There are teams out there that I don't think really want to schedule the Tigers because you go out there, if you dominate, you don't have much to prove, but you go out there and lose that game, and all the talk's going to be, oh, you lost to that that group of 5 team in Memphis, when that program knows how good of a team Memphis is.
And Bryant, that game will be at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, and it's no technical to it. It is state owned.
Yeah.
The good people of Arkansas State pay as much taxes for War Memorial as the Razorbacks. We know it's the longtime home of the Razorbacks, though. I make that point. ASU, if they won, they may make a chance at trying to tear a goalpost down at it.
Let's do it. Take them down. I'm all for it.
And there was a time in college football, Bryant, with the winning coach, they carried him off on the shoulders. It wasn't the Gatorade bath and all that. It won't be carrying Butch Jones off their shoulders. They'll carry him off their shoulders back to Jones Boogie.
All the way back. All the way back. You're right. You're absolutely right. That would be absolutely massive. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a tough early schedule for Arkansas with Arkansas State, Notre Dame, Memphis, all there early. Ole Miss. I mean, all of that early in the season. That's gonna be real tough in what is a big season for Sam Pittman.
And Ole Miss week, Arkansas fans spend all their time saying it's no big deal.
Oh, that's right. They sure will. They sure will. So yeah, it's not going to be easy for Arkansas early in the season, but it is going to be fun to watch. Well, let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, we got to talk some Major League Baseball. Fun night last night around the league. We'll talk about that next on Sports Time.
Still bad. Testing.
Whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of area jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Area just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier is the place to come. See thousands thousands of pairs of Arian boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 91271-5199.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Good afternoon. The fire department's been busy with a couple of earlier car fires. Traffic's building pretty good now through Midtown. Here we go. It's cranking up. 240 South at South Parkway. So far, so good over here at the 101 connector on I-40 now. Passing Watkins is going to increase in just a few minutes on I-40 as you continue past Hollywood all the way over to White Station. Dandelions, crabgrass, not a problem for lawn solutions. These guys are the best here in Memphis, and they're affordable. Call them right now at Lawn Solutions 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure studios. We got to talk some Major League Baseball. A fun game last night between the Cardinals and the Pirates to start the series. The Jose Barrero game last night. Home run, a double, 3 RBI game for him that really put the Cardinals ahead and secured that win last night. A lot of fun. They'll go again tonight, and the Cardinals will have to face Paul Skeens. Matthew Libator going for the Cardinals. But, Brett, I say that they have to face Paul Skeens. Last time Paul Skeens pitched against the Cardinals had their way with him and gave him a loss. So maybe they can do the same thing tonight against old Paul Skeens, who I've heard some talk about him this year. Looking at him 3-3 on the year, 2.74 ERA. Some people calling it the sophomore slump for Paul Skeens.
And the reality for him of I'm in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
And 12-24, I heard last night during the Cardinal game, worst record for the Pirates after 36 in a while, and that's saying something.
That's surprising.
Because they've had a lot of bad records. It just seems like no hope for them. He's just one guy. He's a big piece.
He sure is.
They got to get a lot more around him. Last night, speaking of reality hitting.
Oh, man.
All those empty seats.
Yeah, some of those shots last night were not flattering at all.
Green seats, Barron.
Mm-hmm. Everywhere you looked.
Dugout seat, everywhere. Box score said 22. I'd love to see a scan count. And they got one there, too. Use the same equipment that everybody else uses around sports.
That's right.
It's the best money can buy. It's no thumb on the scale. And I bet their scan count last night couldn't have been over 12,000.
No. It was ugly. I mean, it was one of those. We've talked about it a lot.
It's kind of people's job to know how many people are in their building.
Yeah. No, you have someone on staff, to make sure that you get those numbers in order.
And they have a good gauge of it up in the afternoon at every place around where they can know on food prep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and maybe even staffing. And that That's big money.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. So, no, they know exactly how many people are in the stadium any given night, no matter if it's in St. Louis, if it's here, if it's out in California. Every arena, every stadium, they know exactly how many people are in attendance for those games.
The best game of the night last night, though, was your American League team late night. We talked about it.
Yeah, it was.
With the A's and the Mariners. The A's are right there. They compete, too, and it shows it can be done even on shoestring budget and living out of a suitcase. But the next best game last night was Landon's Mets hanging on to win in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. And I'll bet you that in the ballpark there were probably more Mets fans there than Diamondback fans for all the snowbirds.
No, it was a lot of Mets fans there, and they held. Landon, all you need to do is just not play the Cardinals, and then you can win some games.
Well, I mean, it depends on where we're playing the Cardinals.
I guess so. At home, it's fine.
At home, we'll take you guys.
Any day. But on the road, completely different conversation.
Especially the doubleheader was
that was ugly.
Really tough.
No, that was really tough. But hey, back to the winning ways, and you get the 5-4 win over the Diamondbacks, a game where you had 8 hits. So yeah, I would say a pretty good night. But yeah, that Mariners Athletics game, that game was crazy. Extra innings, needed 11, and thought that the Athletics were going to wrap it up in 10. They go out there. They're able to load the bases with no outs in the 10th inning. They get a run in, and then Andres Munoz, the relief pitcher for the Mariners, 3 straight strikeouts to get out of that inning, send it to the 11th, and then Seattle couldn't score top of the 11th, and the Athletics able to plate a run in the bottom of the 11th. So, yeah, good game. One game going on right now,
sure
a doubleheader in Washington.
Rain out last night.
Yeah, so we get a doubleheader in Washington right now. High-scoring affair, which I love because I took the over in this game. 6-5 in the top of the 5th, or excuse me, top of the 7th.
Over around 7.5, 8?
No, it was 9.5. So
wow.
It was a high total.
They were thinking
this game.
Big runs.
They certainly were. And
they got them.
They sure did. Bases loaded right now.
They just got a lot more.
Cleveland, yeah. So it is that's a fun one, part of the doubleheader.
You got it up? You watching it?
I am not watching right now. I have the stats up, so I'm keeping up with it a little bit, but I do not have the video.
7-6 Cleveland.
All right. So
that's a Cleveland team that they're right there in the mix behind Detroit.
Yeah.
That many are saying Detroit's the best team in the American League, that it will go through them.
Yeah, no, they've been impressive. They've been fun and kind of have slowly been building. They've got the stars out there, and then they've got some of the young guys that they've been able to bring through the system. So yeah, Detroit's a fun team. We saw them make the playoffs last year, so maybe another year where they can get deeper. That would be I think that'd be really fun to have Detroit go.
Better Central, American League or National League? Just Central Division.
I will go American League.
You got the Cubs as the one versus Detroit.
Yeah.
I think that's a push.
It's very close. It is extremely close.
And then the two's better in AL in Cleveland than Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And then on down.
Yeah.
Kansas City's probably better than any team other than the Cubs.
That's right.
National League Central.
Kansas City really.
Yeah, I think
good
you're
team.
right.
I think it's interesting. Now you get. I think Minnesota. I mean, they're okay this year, but past couple of years they've been pretty good. But it gets weighed down by how bad the White Sox are.
I never get the American League Central figured out.
No, never. I don't think anybody does. I mean, honestly, I think everybody was screaming from the rooftops, Kansas City this year, and now they're still. 4 games over 500, but now sitting in third place in the division. That's just
Colorado 6-28.
Well, and then there's Colorado. So I guess
remember Thursday I was saying count how many times Colorado and the White Sox win on the same day, and then they did that day.
Sure did.
That's the only time all year.
Sure did. That was funny. And then the White Sox won back-to-back games. I think. Friday, Saturday, maybe, or Thursday, Friday, somewhere over the weekend. They won back-to-back games, and I was telling Connor, I was like, man, y'all are on a roll now, Keep stringing together. And then they lost that day. They were up, and Connor blamed me because I walk in, he's watching the game. They had just won the 2 days before. I walk in, and they're up 3-0 over Houston. I go, man, 3 games in a row, y'all are rolling. And he goes, really? And I go, what? And he goes, we're in the second inning. I mean, it's such a long game. And then they end up getting beat like 7-3 or something like that. So
And tonight you got Reds in Atlanta at Truist. And once upon a time in sports when we were all failures at geography and we had the Reds and the Braves in the National League West with the Dodgers.
Yeah, explain that one to me.
That was the Braves' second biggest rivalry other than the Dodgers is anytime they'd play the Reds.
That's right. Wow. Holy cow. Explain that one to me. That one doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, we just got a lot wrong.
That one does not make sense at all to me. But
I mean, it was big lapels, a lot of polyester. We got a lot wrong.
Yeah, a lot going on in the 70s for sure. But
a lot of people were really stoned.
Well,
too,
that is true. That is true. A time when Johnny Harden really fits in. Really fits in.
John really was a man of the 70s.
He was.
Well, he's a man for all seasons.
That's true, but his heart is that of the 70s for sure.
I mean, John and Austin Powers.
Oh man, two peas in a pod. I mean, they really are. They are neck and neck. Speaking of that game, that series, Reds and Braves, really scary injury by the left fielder last night. The rookie Tyler Callahan just right into the wall. You knew it immediately that was not going to be a good injury. Wall absolutely won.
Wall wins
all the time. Every single time, breaking his forearm in that collision, so he'll be out for a while with that injury. But that should be a fun series between the Reds and the Braves. Some really good series going on right now. But yeah, we got one game going on.
The early part of the week may be better than the weekend.
It really could be. There are some really fun series going on right now. So yeah, plenty to watch tonight in Major League.
8-6 now in DC.
Oh wow!
Guardians
all right.
over
Love it.
Nationals.
Keep on pouring in the runs. Why not? Get everyone invested in a game at middle of the afternoon with all the runs. But let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning barbecue and so much more. Catfish, steak burgers, chicken, certified prime Angus beef steaks, along with all the sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. We're the best barbecue, southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appling.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up call for tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Old defense guns, guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, classic arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guarantee lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections, appraisals, and free bar setting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at classicarmsandmemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Georgia Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Elwood Shack in the Lowe's parking lot on Summer just keeps getting bigger and better. Bigger because now there's a second Elwood Shack at 4040 Park across from the University of Memphis. And better because you can get breakfast every day at both Elwoods. There's the barbecue breakfast burrito, either beef brisket or pork shoulder, and pancake biscuits made fresh daily. Real house-made pancakes, apple and bacon, French toast, and more. And the new Elwood's even has a real coffee bar serving fresh roasted J. Brooks coffee. Elwood Shack, now with 2 locations and open every day for you.
Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons. Gordon Ford covering SEC sports.
Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Extraordinary events from once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family at the best prices of the year, guaranteed. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today comes from the NBA. We'll go with the number 50.4%. Oh, everybody loves decimals. Everybody loves percentages. 50.4%. That is my big number today. In the 2025 NBA playoffs, the Pacers have shooting splits of 50.4% from the field, 41.6% from three, and 83.3% from the free throw line. They are the first team in NBA history to reach those three percentages through their first 6 games in a single postseason. You saw it in Game 1 against Cleveland. It was the three-point shooting that really killed the Cavaliers in Game 1. And yeah, I mean, when you're out there and you're shooting over 50% from the field, you're shooting over 40% from the three-point line, and you're consistently knocking down free throws, that makes you a very difficult team to beat. I've heard so many people talk about, well, it's one guy that's carrying them, but it's not. This Indiana team, they're showing that it is multiple guys coming through, having really impressive games. And
coaching matters.
Coaching
having
definitely
an
matters.
adult on the sideline.
Absolutely.
A champion coach in Rick Carlisle.
Absolutely. And so you put all of that together, and this is becoming a tough team to beat. And it's weird that we're talking about them this way. This is the same team that was just in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They didn't make many changes to this roster. So I see a lot of people surprised that, and I know I picked against them in the first round. I picked against them in this round. But I see so many people, acting like they're shocked to see the Pacers playing this way. But, we've seen them go deep into the playoffs last year. So this doesn't surprise me, and it's certainly a team offensively clicking on all cylinders.
I had them in first round, but I was part of our group lock with Cleveland in the second round. Still a lot of games we played. Last night was fun in the 1-0s, but let's don't take too much from it.
No, certainly not.
But it matters somewhat. My big numbers from the NBA as well. Mine is 16. Last night, everybody was so glad that he passed Russell Westbrook with that pass, but he's also now 16 points shy of 3,000 for career playoff points. He'll get that. He'll get that in, maybe in the next game. That is the seventh most of active players and the second most that are still playing.
Wow. That's incredible.
But he's only played in 5 NBA Finals games ever. That was in 2012 when Oklahoma City was knocked out 4-1 by LeBron in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, he was good last night. 30 minutes off the bench, 18 points, couple
Did you see him
assists.
post-game?
Did
you see the hat he was working?
No, I did not see the hat.
It looked like Melania's hat from the inauguration.
Really? Well,
it looked like he borrowed it.
Russell Westbrook.
It looked like an evil James Bond figure hat that may take it off and throw it and cut your head off with it.
He is known for his fashion, so that does not surprise me.
He got his lid last night post game.
He was rocking a post.
Take a confident man to go out in that lid.
Oh yeah, no, that's a look right there.
Maybe even a confident woman to work that lid.
Yeah, no, that's a lid for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him. If you got that confidence,
let it work.
All out, I mean, just rock it. But no, it's been really fun NBA playoffs. Round 1 was really fun, and now round 2, everything's pointing to another really fun series in all of these games. And I'm really excited to see how Game 1 goes tonight between the Warriors and the Timberwolves.
I bought that Cleveland and Oklahoma City really, really good. Saw both of them saw Oklahoma City a bunch.
Yeah.
I think 4 times this year at FedEx Forum. So Cleveland just the one time they came through. But I never bought that they were the end all be all.
Right. Yeah, no, and you've been consistent with that, really all year. And so now it looks like they certainly have have some competition, and certainly the Nuggets are a team that, look, I know that they've lost a couple pieces from that championship team. Obviously, they don't have a permanent head coach right now, but they've still got some really good players. And so, it should not be a cakewalk for the Thunder. But now you look up last night after both those wins, the underdogs winning in Game 1, you look at these lines for Game 2 tomorrow night. Celtics, 10.5-point favorite over the Knicks. OKC, 10.5-point favorite over Denver. So the Vegas is going back out there and putting more big lines out for Game 2.
This was a missed opportunity year for the Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To be the 8 and get swept, it was a lot more there to have been achieved.
No, I think you're right, and it kind of goes back to you're now year 6, 7 with these guys, and it just feels like you should be a lot further along than very clearly where they are.
And Zach Kleiman said that we're not close. Well, he's right about that.
Yeah,
they're not.
He is absolutely right. We saw that firsthand this year. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up this second hour and get to another break. And when we return, we're talking NFL. Bo Marchant, he joins us next.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Vargas. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in the 32-ounce jar. It's so good the base will marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from the Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family of heritage still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is Those are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000.
Hello.
Patio furniture up to
Test it out. Huh? What's going on? Hey, everybody. Hey, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello. I guess we'll just talk about what I did last night. Nothing inappropriate. It's all great stuff. Got NFL 2K after eating some fantastic Mexican food in honor of Cinco de Mayo. Incredible key lime pie. Had 3 slices of that bad boy. Had a little.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342.
There's no place like home, Town Village.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines at the largest specialties in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's starting to build even more with volume as we check it out live again with that traffic flow on 240 East from Mill Branch all the way out to 385. Bill Morris Parkway itself is holding up right now as you head out towards Collierville. We expect that to get a little bit busier probably next 10, 15 minutes as you come off 240 there onto Bill Morris. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Go by and see them right now and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry out there on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Original Sports Station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Biloxi. Once again,
You say you stand by your man. Tell me something I don't understand. You said you
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios as we start our 3rd and final hour. And every week at this time on Tuesdays, we talk the NFL, and we do it with Beau Marchant.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Beau Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Beau Marchant. Here's Beau with Bryant and Brett.
Beau Marchant joins us now to talk the NFL. A lot to get to, but Beau, I proclaimed this earlier to Brett. I am all in on Brian Schottenheimer. That is a ball coach right there.
You like the connection in the locker room there, huh?
Well, it's not even that. I just see the video, the B-roll of him at practice, at rookie minicamp. He's got his visor on backwards. He's hitting all the fellas. I mean, that's a ball coach right there.
Brett, this sounds exactly like a typical Cowboys fan, right?
It really does.
Then by week 6, they'll be like, we got to get rid of this guy.
I think I heard this about Jason Garrett.
Well, I did like Jason Garrett.
No, listen. You know, there's a lot of lineage with that name as well. So, I felt comfortable if they would have kept McCarthy. But sometimes, the book gets boring. You want to read something else. So I get that as a player, franchise, fan base as well. But hopefully Schottenheimer turns it around. And I do like the connection. That he put Dak and Micah together in the locker room, and been around a lot of, at least the Steelers locker room and other locker rooms. It's usually a lot of, positional wise, the linemen or the number wise, when you go through the numbers. But I like that you have kind of the leader of the offense and the leader of the defense connected. So maybe that'll be the rallying cry of a point of leadership coming from that locker room. And when they're in that pregame, they look to those two men. They'll kind of know where the direction of that team's going for those two.
A week from tomorrow night will be the official NFL schedule release. All the games, a lot of the times, of course, a lot more games now being flexed, and we understand and we know why. You can't really doubt what Roger Goodell has accomplished. When I saw him just every pick being booed, not as lustily in Green Bay as at a lot of drafts. I'm thinking he makes $60 million a year for a reason, and he's got a league that's making every year around $9 to $10 billion. For somebody that's so reviled and everybody in lockstep wanting to praise Adam Silver, the commissioner we should be praising is Roger Goodell.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that. Like it's almost. I think it's more of just a fan tradition now. I mean, it's probably not welcoming to hear your name booed every single call for 3 hours on a Thursday night going into Friday night as well. But like you said, I don't think there's any one thing where you could look at it and say, okay, maybe New England with the, certain things with the Belichick and draft picks and things like that. Maybe, things like that if you wanted to have a hard line towards. But I mean, I don't know if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, a Tampa Bay Bucks.
What are you mad at that about?
Yeah, I don't really know why you would arrive at the draft and boo the guy. But again, I just think it's more of a how would you say it? Just a fan base thing. It's kind of like that restaurant that may not be the best one, but it's just where you're supposed to go, and there's a line out the door, but across the street's the same type of sandwich, and it's just kind of people do it. They see the other people do it, and they just kind of to jump on board with it. I've been fortunate enough. I mean, I talked to Roger down at the Super Bowl years ago. Very cordial. I've seen him a couple times at the Hall of Fame, and he's taken time to answer a few questions. And he's always been so kind and diligent. And it's you can just tell it's a genuine response. It's just not of you could tell some guys really don't want to talk to you or they really don't want to respond. And even if the question's uncomfortable, and he's accustomed to that because he is the commissioner. So, I love the National Football League. I love the Shield. And, he's given us he's given us football basically every night. And he's trying, and as you talked about the flex games. I mean, the flex games, if you're going to the game, I could see the aggravation. Maybe, you thought you were going to Tampa to see the Panthers and now you're not, on a Thursday night. I could see where that, that changes your, but, to sit home and watch the best two teams play on a particular night that has a lot of meaning in terms of significance towards the outcome of the final game into the Super Bowl, I'm all in on it.
And maybe not day of the week, but college football fans, man, we know all about that flex scheduling, don't we, Bryant? Because except for a couple of games, it could be 11, 2:30, 6. I mean, it could be almost anything on a lot of given Saturday afternoons, and the team values and the stadiums that he's been instrumental in, and now what they're doing in Washington with the Washington team returning back to the district with that stadium. They're going to host the Super Bowl. They're going to host the draft. He's delivered. Bryant's Cowboys, with all the joking about the fun-loving joking about them, they're going to be primary in this TV schedule that gets released a week from tomorrow night, maybe even including opening night because we know they're playing the champions, and we know they like to start the Thursday night with the champion playing at home. Why not put Eagles Cowboys on that first Thursday and just see if you can get to 50 million viewers?
Yeah, why not? You got. I mean, I grew up loving NFC East football, and I still do. And I think I just love the division. I still love, the Cowboys, Eagles, Giant Eagles, Washington Eagles, Giants, Cowboys. I just love the matchups, and it just seems like that one division. And people could probably, correct me if I was wrong, but at least when I watched that division, they're always one of the top teams in the end in terms of, the caliber. They're often in the Super Bowl, and nonetheless, it's usually a different winner of that division. It's not like the Chiefs or the Patriots, where they have these strongholds on the division. It's just a waste of time, and nobody else is going to win it. It just seems like that particular division, the NFC East, and probably the NFC North, I could say that as well. It just seems like those two divisions, in my mind, just have a lot of change and a lot of dominance from different areas. That teams that are always consistent, not always that bad. At least the NFC East. I know the Giants have been down, but nonetheless, they had a couple Super Bowls with Eli not too long ago, and that's a lot more than a lot of other franchises could say.
Yesterday, the news came out that the Ravens released Justin Tucker. They called it a football decision, but we know there have been off-the-field allegations this offseason with Justin Tucker. What does this news mean for the Ravens going forward? I mean, they up until really this year, Justin Tucker was can't miss, automatic, and now they'll go into 2025 with a brand new kicker.
Yeah, well, I think they took Tyler Luke in the 6th round out of Arizona. So I mean, they I think draft week you kind of had an idea that they knew the direction they were going, and they probably know a lot more internally, maybe how this is going to shake out. I'm sure that they have ears and boots on the ground, if you will, in terms of what may happen with Justin Tucker. But he struggled last year, and it's not in terms of just them releasing them. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Ray Rice incident when he got in trouble and they released him. And Ray was at the downward, of his career. He wasn't the same guy, so you weren't cutting a guy at the pinnacle, where he was the guy. And so I think that all plays a significant factor in these decisions. And because we've seen it time and time again that if you're the elite of the elite, they'll find a way to keep you on board the team. And even if there's some foul information coming from different areas of your life, they're going to do all they can to kind of protect you on that roster. And I think vice versa, when that magic becomes, fades, if you will, and age becomes a factor, production becomes a factor, and there may be an opportunity to kind of change direction, they do it. I'm not saying this is why the Ravens did it, but I just think, those all are factors that kind of lead to the decision, and obviously the ongoing allegations surrounding Justin Tucker. But if we didn't know Justin Tucker, he just was not a good kicker last year. And if he was a rookie kicker last year, he would have been cut. I mean, just face it. But, he is, one of the best we've ever seen. He'd probably go to the Hall of Fame nonetheless. And, but, it happens to all of us. But, now it's up to Tyler Luke. They got a 6th-round kid in there, and we'll see if he can make good and keep that job. It's but even then we've seen Chad Ryland, the Patriots took him a couple years ago in the draft, and now the Patriots took another kicker in this draft. So it doesn't always pan out. And I think Ryland was in Arizona. He had a good year last year. He really kind of changed things, turned things around. But it's a carousel of kickers right now in the National Football League. It seemed like these guys used to really hold down the fort a lot more, but now it's just like that waiver wire of kickers kind of coming and going to different spots. It seems endless, at least during the season. That's my evaluation of it.
Why do you think that is, Bo? Why do you think we're kind of going through them? Because used to, you got set with a kicker, and you kind of kept him, and you would finesse the salary cap, whatever you had to do to keep him. But now they're seemingly a lot more expendable. Why do you think that is?
I wish I had an answer to you. You would think that the kicking would be better. I mean, it just comes down to missed kicks or missed extra points. I know that they've changed the extra points.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's blown their minds. And we already know kickers already kind of start with a fragile psyche.
Yeah, maybe that's it. That's a great point. Listen, it's bizarre, and these guys are off these camps and doing their thing. But as you mentioned, growing up, Jan Stenerud, Gary Anderson, Matt
Morton Anderson.
Yeah. I mean, Morton Anderson. These guys were just faces of the franchise in terms of the kicking game, and it just doesn't seem like that. I mean, and there's some teams that have had guys, but if you really go back and look at these teams, actually, I might go. I'm gonna text you guys later. I'm gonna actually go back and see how many teams had different kickers, absent of injury. I know the Jets had several kickers, but they were losing guys to injuries. But this is just guys not making the grade. Like what is it, Braden Nervison? He was what's his last Narvison? I know he was a rookie last year. Made some big kicks with the Titans, got released, and he got signed with the Packers. And then he made a couple kicks, and then he missed more than he made, and eventually he got released. He's a free agent now. But now that said, do not be surprised when this season rolls around. One of these weeks, there's a guy goes down, a guy misses a kick, and they bring this guy in, and he kind of nestles in for the rest of the season, kind of like a Chad Ryland for New England. So it's just the way of the world.
We're kind of going through kickers. Last week, you were clear how bullish and favorable your opinion of Shedeur Sanders. You said you thought he would get a lot of starts, a lot of playing time, and quality football next year for the Browns. I have no trouble whatsoever with him picking uniform number 12 because how much he adores Tom Brady. In the history of the Browns, there hadn't been many great number 12s. A kicker was probably their best, and that was Don Cockroft for most of the 70s. After that, quarterbacks, Colt McCoy, Luke McCown, Jeff Driscoll, Don Strock for a couple of games, Vinny Testaverde. It's all his. Good luck, Shedeur.
Yeah, good luck. It's funny I was at my uncle's last night, and long time Browns fan. I mean, he actually took me to my first football game, NFL game. It was back in the 80s. Elway was there to play Cleveland. Not one of the playoff games, but it was just a regular season game. Long time Browns fan, very wise fan, sometimes your wise uncles, you just kind of, they've always said the smart things. He's like, Bo, what do you think of Sanders? I said, I love the move. He goes, listen. He always calls you Bud. He goes, listen, Bud. He goes, there's no way that this kid's going to fail. He goes, his dad's not going to let him fail. He goes, and I said, yeah, it's a great point. And so those are the little things. It means nothing, but in terms of how you progress information from people you adore or admire or, whatnot, it's kind of those words of wisdom. And when he said that, I'm like, I'm kind of on the same wavelength with that. If he would have said something different, then I would have been like, maybe he's right, because he's always usually been right. So, but nonetheless, I like the move. And I do think a little bit, even prior to my uncle saying that, I just think there's a mindset within that family, a dynamic where, I don't think failure is an option in terms of, not being your absolute best. But it's the National Football League, and, you can have all the belief and all the desire you want. It may not necessarily pan out. But I do believe Sanders will be the guy. And I don't want to write Dylan Gabriel off just yet, but I just think the amount of hype and everything around Shedeur, I just think if you don't put him in, and put it this way, if he's not deserving of it, then the team will know that as well. It's kind of like a Johnny Manziel thing. The team knew that wasn't direction. But with Shedeur, if he's the guy,
that's the first to know it. The locker room's the first to know you're headed in a right or wrong direction.
Yeah, and and that's the problem. It's they can't say it publicly, but they say if you're around it, the whispers, the dissatisfaction after games when certain sides or players aren't putting in the stuff to make you a winner. But if he's at camp, if he's up in Berea doing his thing and he looks promising, the fan base is going to clamor for it. There's no way that they're going to want a former first-round pick of the Steelers lead them. They don't want an old-timer and Joe Flacco. And, they're not going to be familiar with Dylan Gabriel, and they're going to look at Shedeur Sanders as the guy. And I just think it's going to be a franchise. We all know the quarterback, especially the rookie quarterback, if you throw something out there, I saw it in Pittsburgh. You throw out the Mitchell Trubisky, we don't want Trubisky. We want Pickett. And even if Pickett isn't the right guy, we want Trubisky off the field. And I think that's going to be the same thing in Cleveland. They're not going to want to see Flacco. They're not going to want to see Pickett or Gabriel. They're going to want to see Shedeur Sanders. And then let him have the keys early. If he fails, he fails. You move on. Maybe you give him, Dylan or Pickett the reins and go back to it. But I just think, for me, to avoid all that, as long as he's deserving of it, you just don't want to throw a guy out there just to appease the fans. But if he's deserving it, I would not wait. If I'm Stefanski, I'm putting him out there and I'm letting him just take this thing and hopefully just wish for the best. Because, the defense should be stout, Mason Graham, along with all the other pieces. I'm excited for the Browns. And to me, they got an A+ draft or an F-. I just think there's so many. Well, because I said, Hunter's he's a generational type talent. If he becomes the guy and you gave him away, wow. Then you
like
take
the
Dylan
Bears
Gabriel
giving away Mahomes.
Yeah, like the Bears. Yeah, so those little things, but if it works out for them, and Sanders is the guy, and Mason Graham is this interior guy that just helps make that defense more elite, and Junkins and that draft, I think there's just so many nice pieces where if it works, I just think it could be a special draft for the Browns. And you know me, I don't say that too often where I'm like, wow, I'm in love with the Cleveland Browns draft and I like what they did, but I like the move. They still got a 1 next year for dropping down. I like the way that they went, and they had a plan. It seemed like. Now, does that mean it's going to work out? We won't know that for a year or two. But nonetheless, right now, I'm really, really happy with what they did. If I'm a Browns fan, I'm excited, and they're always excited.
Oh yeah,
I think it probably but I really do think they're on to something right now.
Yeah, talking about Marchand, he joins us every week to talk the NFL. I saw a story over on CBS Sports earlier today titled "Biggest Question Facing Each NFL Team After the 2025 Draft." For the Pittsburgh Steelers, a question that feels like a weekly question with you. Is there any real plan under center? Obviously, the quarterback situation. Have you heard anything? Is anything happening in Pittsburgh in terms of who the starting quarterback will be for the Steelers?
Yeah, I think we just got to circle back to the name of Aaron Rodgers. I know during the draft preference, it was either Omar or Tomlin said that they were going to have 4 quarterbacks when camp rolls around. So, Rodgers would be that 4th right now. So, I think for a franchise that has a lot of expectations, you trade your 2 for Metcalf and you're anxious. I think there's a win now mentality. They have to know something behind the scenes in terms of, and not that panicky attitude, and especially with Shedeur Sanders going in the 5th round. They had ample opportunity to take a quarterback. I know they took Will Howard in the 6th, but, Will Howard was never perceived as one of the elite prospects of this draft. Sanders was, even though he slipped in the draft. So I think behind the scenes, they have a plan, and right now, especially after the draft and things settle, I think it's more clearly. I think the relaxation, or at least the appearance of that, them not panicking on a draft pick early or anything, suggests to me that they have, a behind the doors agreement. Rodgers, he's going to sign there, and away we go. And that's my mindset now. It could change, but I believe that right now. Their lack of, making a more significant move on draft night, I think signals that they feel comfortable knowing that Rodgers eventually is going to sign with them.
Bo Marchand, our guest on the NFL on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Bo's with us every single Tuesday talking the NFL. Bo, the draft schedule release is next Wednesday night, but we know it will start leaking at some point. When do you think the tidal wave of leaks begin, and what's the first thing you look at for covering the Pittsburgh Steelers when it comes to schedule?
I like to know just the opener. I mean, like, are we going to be on the road? Is it going to be a home game? I mean, for me, and then I think for the Steelers wise, after that, I just look for the Monday night games, the Sunday night games. There's just a 1:00 game. It's funny, is like, if you're in the media, at least my perception, or at least how we do it in Pittsburgh, is a 1:00 game, you're dressed nice. 4:00 game, you're dressed a little nicer, and then for 8:00 a night kickoff, you might be wearing a suit and tie. You just want to look your absolute best. So, just we all do it. Yeah, so it's just one of those things. So I always like the night games. It's all eyes are on that game. It just has a great vibe, and it's a great atmosphere. So those are things I look at
Bo.
In terms of leaking.
Drives me crazy at SEC Media Days to see some people dressed like I wouldn't work in the yard dressed like that. You're in a professional setting.
Yeah, and I sometimes feel like, it might sound foolish, but I look at I look at it as they're letting you in their home, the Steelers, and you want to kind of be your best and look your best, and training camp's a little different because training camp's on your patrol. Yeah, but game day, yeah, at least and I'm not. My kids make fun of me. I try to be a good dresser, but oftentimes they're like,
If you
"Dad,
want
you're
to be
really wearing
taken
that."
serious, you got to look serious.
Yeah. So, but we're leaking maybe a couple days before.
Yeah.
But
I bet we get some Monday night football and maybe even Thursday night game leaked this week.
Man, let's see. Yeah, it could be. Well, they're doing it next week, right?
Next Wednesday night, yeah.
Yeah, next Sunday. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to get the opener. That'll definitely.
Do you mind Thanksgiving? I know you've worked it. Do you mind working Thanksgiving?
No, I would prefer to be home. I ain't gonna lie. I would prefer being with my family and watching it on TV. But I guess that's a hypocritical move. I don't want to go do it, but everybody else can do it. So, but we've all grown up watching Thanksgiving football. So it's just to me, it's the tradition of watching the games instead of actually watching the games in the stands. But listen, I'll be there no matter what. As long as I'm credentialed to be there, I will be there and I will enjoy it. And it's Thanksgiving.
Thank our lucky stars we can.
Yeah. If they had more time in the day, there'd probably be 8 games on Thanksgiving. It's just there's only 24 hours, so.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
There was a little congressional pushback yesterday. It was lost in everything going on with Goodell at the White House and the draft announcement. At a Senate hearing yesterday, the NFL, it's federal law that they can't play on Friday and Saturdays from a certain date in September through a certain date in December. And yesterday there was pushback by some of you're crowding into Fridays and Saturdays with these international games and some other games.
Yeah, I get it. And listen, guys, you guys know I love the league, but I do like all the other leagues. It's called the oversaturation, and that's why we're not interested in it. And you got college football, we got other sports, and then you have the National Football League. It does lessen, I think, the desire of it. And they're going to make their money, so they're going to keep doing it. But I do think, the idea of, the Saturdays and the Fridays and trying to make it almost, especially during the holidays, I know what they're trying to do. But for me, there's a point where I want to devote my time to it, and then I want to devote my time to it, especially where we're at, because you got to devote your time to it. We just can't be well, I'm not going to watch one game. I'm going to, I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. I'm not, but no, that's not the case. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So, I like the games. I don't mind the 18 schedules, but I'd just rather have them on less days in terms of, occupying almost every night, it seems like now in the National Football League.
Definitely. Well, hopefully next week we'll have some leaks in terms of scheduling that we can talk about next Tuesday. Bo, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Have a great week, gentlemen.
Thanks, Bo.
Thank you, Bo.
Bo Marchant joining us every single Tuesday to talk the NFL. We kind of ran out of time there, but 15 days for the big 10,000 for Bo Marchant in his run streak. So we'll have to talk about that next week.
Next week we'll be in the home stretch.
We really will be, so that'll be a lot of fun.
And is that it's not a marathon a day, is it?
No. It's close to him. He said he likes to do 3 miles. So he does it he likes to do 3 miles. If it's more, then it's more. If it's not, then it's not. But he said he at least likes to do 3 miles a day. But that's close to a 5K. About 3.5 is a 5K.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. It is. What do you think of my theory on why we're going through kickers? I think we've scrambled their brains.
You might be onto something, honestly.
And I can't stand it. I can't stand the extra point kick push back to where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was 1, 2, 3 kick, and you go to break at 7-0, and everything's divisible by 7. What was so bad about that?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Who cares at the end of the day? But I guess someone cared because we've changed a lot when it comes to the kicking game. So you're right.
I've got a conspiracy theory too.
All right, please.
I think the kickers, how they used to be, would start and everybody would kick. Not everybody, but a lot of them would kick 10, 12, 15, 18, way up there.
Sure.
A lot of years. It was killing the NFL, or not killing it, but it was taking more retirement for them than NFL wanted to pay in.
You could certainly be right about that. I like that conspiracy theory.
So we can chew right through them, kind of keeping them on that backup quarterback deal, 2-3 years next,
exactly.
and not have to pay in.
I don't hate that idea. I might be with you on that one.
They didn't get to be billionaires not watching every angle.
It's true. They know what they're doing over there. The Shield. They know what they're doing. So.
Jimmy Haslam knew what every Milky Way candy bar cost in those convenience stores.
Yes, he did. So yeah, I don't put it past him. I don't put it past him at all. Well, we need to get to a break. Before we do that, let me remind you about our great 5 o'clock sponsors. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender. Available in multiple models to fit your needs, the Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Extraordinary events from once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family, at the best prices of the year, guaranteed. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
You know the feeling when you're about to cut into a juicy steak and hope it tastes as perfect as it looks? Worry no more. With Chef IQ Sense, it's possible to get it right every time. How? It's a modern, completely wireless cooking thermometer that eliminates under or overcooking your food, no matter how you cook it. Chef IQ Sense was designed to withstand extreme heat and can even survive in your deep fryer. From grilling to roasting or baking, Chef IQ Sense guarantees that your chicken, meat, or fish will come out exactly to your preferred outcome. Using Chef IQ Sense is so simple. Insert the wireless probe into your food, choose your desired doneness on the Chef IQ app, and it'll alert you when it's ready. Stay connected and monitor your food from anywhere over Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So stop the confusion, eliminate the risk, and serve every meal with confidence. Chef IQ Sense works out of the box and with your favorite appliances. You can find the IQ Sense at chefiq.com and save 15% at checkout with code USA at chefiq.com.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes, or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. We can't wait to serve you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water
96.3. This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. In certain areas, we're seeing some wet driving conditions. Be careful. It's gotten heavier out of Midtown on 240 South at South Parkway. Busy over here right on schedule on 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out into Fayette County. Again, the further south you go of Memphis, you will run into some wet driving conditions. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says they can get rid of this. Call Lawn Solutions right now. Here in the Memphis area, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. Couple things to get to, but we do have to make hockey picks. We made our NBA pick earlier in the show, but two series getting kicked off tonight. Starts here in about 30 minutes at 6 o'clock. Hurricanes, Capitals, and then the second game, Oilers, Golden Knights. Both those games on ESPN tonight.
Carolina in D.C. against the Capitals. I would say, do you think there have been many frozen ponds ever in the history of the state of North Carolina?
I would say very few.
Maybe in some mountain areas, maybe.
Sure, but certainly very few.
Frozen to play hockey on? Very
Frozen
few.
enough to play hockey on, get out there and skate around. I would say very, very few.
Been a couple times you could skate around on the Potomac. Not many.
Probably not many.
Tonight also Edmonton, a lot of frozen ponds
Oh, yeah,
there.
no, they've got the ponds there.
Las Vegas,
I don't know if they've
grand
ever
total,
had
0.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if they've ever had a frozen pond in Las Vegas. Maybe some fake frozen ponds. I wouldn't put that past them.
Well, Vegas can do a lot of fake things.
It's a showman city, Brett.
It really is. Well, we need to stop right there, though.
Yes, we do.
Hurricanes, Capitals, give me Washington.
All right.
Hail to old D.C.
Give Landon Washington as well.
All right, right.
Give me the Hurricanes. How about that? I think the Hurricanes pull an upset here. I don't know why, but I think they pull an upset here.
Vegas, Oilers, Landon.
Landon is going to go with the Knights.
Goes with the LV. I go with the LV.
All right, I'm gonna go with Edmonton. I think they found something that was clicking in the last series, and maybe they can use that to propel them over Vegas. I'll take Edmonton here.
Game 1 between Winnipeg hosting Game 1 tomorrow night against Dallas. We'll do that tomorrow.
Yes, we will. That will be a fun series as well. Both those games went to Game 7, so certainly rest needed for both of those teams. But we'll
Leaves pride last night, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, they looked good. That was a fun game, really, from start to finish.
Against the champ.
Yeah, sure was. So that was a lot of fun. Hey, maybe it's Toronto's year. Maybe finally that Canadian team, picks up that Stanley Cup and hoists it over their head. I don't know.
You could get a Western Conference Finals of all Canada that would ensure at least one going for it, and you could get Toronto out of the East. We could get – it's not inconceivable for an all-Canada final.
No, it's not. That would be
That'd
fun.
be like double tariffs if that happened, doesn't it?
It would. It would be a whole lot of Canada for the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. But no, those have been fun. NBA's been fun. And we just got some breaking news for tonight's game, the game that gets started here in just about 30 minutes. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter, all three of those guys will be out tonight for Cleveland.
Yikes.
Ty Jerome and Dean Wade will be in the starting lineup tonight for the Cavaliers. First time this lineup has been on the court at the same time, is what it sounds like. First time we've seen this lineup this season. The starters, Ty Jerome, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Dean Wade, Jarrett Allen. Very good opportunity tonight for the Pacers to go up 2-0 on the road.
What is that doing to the point spread?
That is a great question, Brett. I have not even looked at it. I will tell you. In
Cleveland was
just a second.
5.5 earlier. It won't be that with that news.
Oh, absolutely not. Cleveland 5.5 earlier. Let's take a look at these odds right now. Doesn't look like they've moved much. Let me go to my book because they had to have moved with that news, unless people already knew that news.
If you can get Indiana plus 5.5, you better get it.
You take that every day.
Call your broker.
No, absolutely. Yeah, right now still 5.5. So
won't be it yet.
No. So I say if you want to bet that game, maybe go ahead and take that right now. Take that.
I know this sounds like hot take TV overreaction, but if Cleveland falls down 0-2, Indiana goes up 2-0, is it over?
No, I'm going to say no. It's tough. It makes it tough for Cleveland, but if this team can get healthy, I won't put it past them.
Indiana would have 3 at home, have to get 2 if they get these 2.
That's right.
To get to 4, to get to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals.
It'd be incredible. It'd be incredible. So I mean, we'll
Do you
find
know
out.
how we would celebrate back-to-back conference finals for the Grizzlies?
Oh, man. And who cares how it came? Because here's the thing.
Who cares?
If Indiana gets through to the next round, well, you're going to hear a lot of that. Well, Cleveland, they were all injured. Damian Lillard goes down in the first round. Cleveland's all injured in the second round. You'll hear a lot of that. But if it was us, if it was Memphis in the conference finals for back-to-back years, who cares how they got there? We would be celebrating in the streets every single day.
And that's the biggest achievement in this franchise history. It was done in the 6th year of that management team. This year was the 6th year of this management team, and they got swept 4-0 after having only won 1 playoff series. That previous management team, I think, won 5 playoff series. Wow. Might have to be checked on that, but I'm close. A lot more than 1.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest feather in the Grizzlies' cap since moving to Memphis. And with time, that's moving on. Next year at playoff time, that's going to be 13 years.
Yeah, no, I mean, time keeps on moving, Brett.
It does. And in the West, everybody except for New Orleans, Portland, and Sacramento, might be one more, maybe Utah.
Mm-hmm.
I know 10 other teams have been to a Western Conference Finals since the Grizzlies did.
Wow, holy cow. I did not know that.
So that's not sullied, but being dulled.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest moment is not that big anymore. Mm-hmm. It's time for new big moments.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right.
And if you don't have them, you have to change the whole organization.
That's right.
Everybody but the owner.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right about that.
Involved in basketball stuff.
Of course. I mean, heck, we just saw the team that won.
No need to go after Grizz.
Nah, I think Grizz is safe. But, I mean, we just saw the team that won the NBA Finals 2 years ago. Not only fire their head coach, fire their general manager. And, I mean, it's just...
That's right. And look, that's another. I started the day, my not top story was another myth exposed about the Grizzlies. Denver's exposing one, too. Mm-hmm. They made that change, and they're doing fine.
That's right, yeah. And
now, their nucleus was a whole lot better.
Sure,
than
and that was built up, and that was there at the beginning of the season, and it's been really good. It's for the most part, very similar to the one that won them the NBA Finals. But, yeah, I mean, there was a point late in the season after the Grizzlies made a move where things were moving in the opposite direction for Denver. Things were going down. There was stuff going on in the locker room behind closed doors where Denver said, we've got to make a change right now where we have to fire our head coach and our general manager. They do that, and now they are up 1-0 over the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So, yeah, I mean, it's just very weird how there were parallels there, but now one team is sitting at home and the other, again, 1-0 lead over the number 1 seed.
Brian, I'll do it since I asked before the playoffs if the Grizzlies go out, who had the more disappointing year, the Tigers or the Grizzlies? Uh-huh. And we both agreed wholeheartedly it would be the Grizzlies.
Absolutely.
Which one of the two gets the bigger local pass from the sports media? Not the fans, from the sports media.
I'd say
Grizzlies or Tigers?
I'd say probably the Grizzlies. It's close, though. It's very close. I'm kind of flipping a coin there with that one.
hauntingly too close.
Yeah. I just picked one. I'm just kind of flipping a coin here.
I think you could.
Yeah.
There are a lot of the same factors that play into it, and I think one of the biggest is people scared to criticize over, here in air quotes, access.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just let it rip and see where the chips fall.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right about that. But, both of them, I think kind of get that cover. And, yeah, it is very close. I think flip a coin and pick whichever side you want to pick. I wanted to bring this up before we ran out of time. Landon sent this to me earlier in the show. Akron football is now ineligible for 2025-26 postseason for academic reasons. The 2023-24 academic progress rate update just dropped earlier today, and Akron's multi-year rate is 914 this year, with a single-year rate of 920. The requirement for postseason eligibility is 930, so they are now ineligible for postseason football because they couldn't get the academics right.
Doesn't that just scream the NCAA?
Oh, I mean, easily.
Everything going on
Easily.
in college sports, and let's smack around Akron.
Hey, Akron, what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Never mind over here what all's going on, but let's get rough and tumble with
Crazy.
Akron.
That is insane. I mean, what a wild story out of nowhere today. Akron, don't worry about a bowl game this year. I don't know if they were really worrying about a bowl game to begin with, but you're not going if you were planning on going one. The other story from today, how about a Colorado fan suing the NFL for causing him emotional distress and trauma after Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th round in the NFL draft, seeking $100 million. I love it.
Do you watch any of the judges' shows?
I used to. I don't anymore. But like
Well,
my mom would watch Judge Judy. Is that the one?
Let me play one of the judges' shows.
Okay, please.
Next case, that's the case. Dismissed. Next case.
Yeah, that's about as quick as it'll go. That's about as quick as it'll go. I love it though. I mean,
Boy,
go get your money.
What would you sue your favorite team for in mental distress? Would it be Mario Chalmers and the overtime in San Antonio?
That'd be a good one.
That wrecked your childhood?
I think my just whole life as a Cowboys fan, I could sue
your whole existence.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing. I was supposed to get this team that's America's team. They're great. Look at all this history. Look at all the championships, and then this is what I get. So I think I have a pretty good case against the NFL.
I would sue Don Dinkinger in Game 7 of the '85 World Series.
Well, that's a pretty good one too. I think we all have cases. Let's do it. Let's put it together and let's sue the leagues for the damage that they caused us as sports fans. But I love that. Go get your money. Shedeur Sanders, he's fallen. It's causing you trauma.
Sue somebody.
Sue somebody. That's kind of the answer nowadays for everything. Is just go sue somebody. But we need to wrap up today's show and get to our final break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that provides cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 for you, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Connerville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? We have it covered at Humminger's. It's quick, it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. Many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humminger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humminger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, we talked Tiger basketball scheduling news earlier, but some national college basketball scheduling news came out last night. Dan Hurley announced over the weekend that UConn would play in the Jimmy V Classic in December, but yesterday we learned who they would play in that matchup. They will play the defending national champion Florida Gators. So that means the last 2 national champions will be. That's right. That's exactly right. That's so they'll be meeting in a regular season game in December. Which sign me up for it. I am absolutely for it. And
I can't wait.
Yeah, it should be a really fun game.
And the Tigers that week before Thanksgiving going down to that MTE event. That will kick off week and a half, 10 days, 2 weeks of, I say it every year, one of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah.
Feast week with everything going. You get some bad weather, might have a World Series game.
Sure could.
Close to that time frame. But I learned more great scheduling from Coach Penny Hardaway. He does not dodge anybody, any year, any time in non-conference scheduling. He can't help the league he's in. But this MTE, the week before Thanksgiving, the Baha Mar Hoops Challenge in the Bahamas will be fun. Purdue, Wake Forest, Tigers, we know. We think Texas Tech. Some have reported other teams as well. Last year, those games were 6 o'clock Central and 8:30 Central on Thursday and Friday night. Look forward to it.
Oh, I definitely look forward to it. It feels like it's going to be another fun non-conference slate. What I could do without today, it was the NHL draft lottery last night. Brett, I'll be completely honest, I got to it a little late, but I did not enjoy it when I finally got to it.
What did we miss?
You missed nothing. The Islanders jumped up from like 10-1. That was kind of the biggest story. But it was awkward. It was not fun. They were doing the drawing of the balls, and for whatever reason, we had a timer, and then start the clock, and the clock counted down from 30, and then they would grab a ball out, but they grabbed like 4 before announcing teams. It was a mess. Give me like they do in the NBA, or just give me no draft lottery. Just do it behind closed doors and tell me where everyone's going to pick. I don't care that much.
Here's how drafts should work. The last go first.
That's right, yeah.
However you get there. If you want to... If you're that big a dog and want to tank that many games, okay.
Go for it.
I could have done without just jaw-dropping. We talked about it earlier, to see all the empty seats any night, any day at Busch Stadium. I know it was a Monday night. I know school's still in. I know it was against Pittsburgh. I know it was kind of cold to a raw night. But really, and I know right now it's not any real star pay to go see, but a box score, it said 22, when we know real time it was probably about 12.
Yeah, no, that was there were some ugly shots last night during that game.
They couldn't. You can't hide them.
No, it's impossible. And every single shot. I mean, no matter the shot they had, it looked bad.
I think I say unbelievable with every one they changed to.
It was really bad last night. Hopefully, it does not look like that tonight, but I'm sure it probably will. Where are you being tonight?
Padres at Yankees at Yankee Stadium. That was fun last night. Mike Schilt got his money's worth in the ninth getting tossed. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, if you're going to get tossed, like you said,
pretty mild-mannered guy to get that
he
steamed up.
He sure is.
Rematch of the 1998 World Series. That was the only World Series that Tony Gwynn ever played in.
Wow. How about that? Yes, that will be a really fun one. Beat me tonight, Game 1. Between the Warriors and the Timberwolves. I think this is going to be a really fun series to watch. I really don't know how it's going to go. I think both teams have different advantages and disadvantages when it comes to this series, but right now, Minnesota at home, they're a 6.5-point favorite against the dynastic Warriors.
This is Anthony Edwards' time to
Sure
really
is.
get known to. Most basketball people, fans know, but we'll see. 2 game ones in the NHL, Carolina at Washington, Edmonton at Vegas, and you mentioned Golden State at Minnesota, but also Indiana, now injury depleted in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night with the playoff basketball, the playoff hockey, the Major League Baseball that we have. It is a really fun night when it comes to the action on our televisions. Enjoy it all. That's all the time we have. We'll talk with you again tomorrow afternoon.